1 minute to the deadline. Seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Deadline.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, but perhaps most importantly, g'day, mates. It is the DBN coverage of the 2026 Sydney Cup in Sydney, Australia, if you didn't guess by the name. I am Zoe Cameron, and I'll be hosting your stream this evening, and I am joined by a great analyst team who, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, maybe their names look upside down, but here I can read them just fine. We have Isaac Jukes and Micah Blom. Welcome to the stream, guys.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Great to have you both here tonight. We may also have a third analyst joining us later in the piece, so stay tuned for that.
I'm honestly shocked. I thought this tournament was happening in Sydney, Nova Scotia, so thank you for clearing that up.
All these overlapping town names. Yes, I just thought I would clarify. It's you never know. Before we get into covering this very exciting tournament with a lot of quirky twists, because would it be an Australian tournament without quirky twists? Probably not. I'd like to throw to each of you. I might start with Micah to run us through some of the tournaments, the face-to-face tournaments coming up in the next few months.
Yes, there's a lot going on for anyone, anywhere in the world, really. This time, generally, I've been doing summertime as a time where there's not that much diplomacy going on, but people have been putting in tournament after tournament after tournament, so that's very exciting. I would advise you all to look at the calendar schedule page of the Diplomacy Broadcasting Network to see everything that's going on and see all the updated events. I'm just going to highlight some because there's too many to all mention. In July, we've got on the 10th, we've got the Diplorat Mischief Tournament in New York. The 31st, we have the North American DipCon at Armada, so that's definitely one you want to be at if you're around. The 14th of August, we have the Boston Massacre, another classic. 5th of September is the Swiss Championship. I'm also going to be there, so if you want to fight me, come, and if you don't want to fight me, come as well, so we have more boards. The 2nd of October is the classic EDC. It's going to be hosted in England. It's the big European tournament, so I recommend anyone to come. We've also got Weaselmoot, also the 2nd of October. The 16th of October is Carnage. The 17th of October is Hersteren in Germany, of course. The 7th of November, we have the Dutch Masters Tournament, which I'm hosting together with Jelte and a lot of other Dutch organizers who got together and made it a tournament of all of us. There's more tournaments. I know there's an Italian tournament coming up in November. There's a French one in December. I think it's July when there's a new tournament in Frankfurt. So much to go. Check the website and have a lot of fun.
Amazing. And I think Isaac is now returning to tell us about virtual upcoming events in the next few months.
Of course. I had to go and consult with the virtual cabal first, you see. Make sure I had all my facts straight. But now I do, and I'm here to tell you that, excitingly, we have some stuff coming up very soon. We have the Summer Classic, one of the 2 annual virtual tournaments occurring on the weekend of July 18th to July 20th. There are games available for all time zones. I believe 4, but you'd have to double check. By going and signing up, because that's what you should do. It's one of the 2 big virtual events every year. It's a great way to be able to play a tournament and get that tournament experience without having to spend the money required to go to a tournament. So it's very good for that reason. Then we have our leagues continuing as usual. We have no Tour of Britain because nice little summer break. Brits don't like doing things in the summer, so we thought we'd just stop till September. But in a marathon that I would not attempt, we have Snake Pit, followed by VDL, followed by VDL, followed by VDL, followed by Snake Pit, all happening on the 25th of July with some wonderful, wonderful games. Please don't play all 5 of them. I'm begging you, don't do it. I know some of you are going to. Don't do it.
I endorse the don't do it. I'm slightly sad that you mentioned the opportunity on stream, Isaac, but that's okay. I endorse not doing that in a row. And I will note as well, for the Keen Beans down in Australia, there are a couple more face-to-face tournaments which may not be on the DBN website yet, but Flying Fox Fandango in Melbourne is currently scheduled for the 16th to 18th of October. And please don't fight me, Canberra friends. I do not recall exactly when the Australian Open is, but that will be in Canberra,
It's
Australia in November.
13th of November. That is on the DBN schedule.
Beautiful. They're doing much better than me. All right. And without further ado, let's turn our minds to the Sydney Cup itself. So a little bit of background on the tournament is that it's had a big break. So if I recall correctly, I believe the tournament was before the long break. It was last held in 2014 with Andrew Goff, the winner. Andrew held that title for over a decade, and it was revived last year by Jason Gray, with Jamal Blakali taking home the title. And this year, Tristan Barrett is our tournament director. Thank you, Tristan. We always appreciate our organisers. They deserve all their flowers. Ably assisted by Darcy Morris, who some of you who are familiar with DBN would also know. And there are a few interesting little quirks to this tournament. And I can see our 3rd analyst, who I was very excited to bring in to chat about the scoring, has joined us. Please welcome Karthik Coneth to the stream.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Karthik, I was going to throw you straight into talking about this mysterious scoring approach, I'm going to call it. Are you comfortable to run us through, or would you like me to do the honors?
I think I can give you a little rundown of it. So this is a system that could probably only be cooked up in the magical minds of Australia. So you take this scoring system, right? And rather than telling the players in advance what they're going to be playing under, you give them a series of guidelines and conditions, but no numbers, nothing to math out. But you put the real system in an envelope, right? And then at the end of the 3rd round, once all play is done and over, the final scoring system will be revealed. The only guidelines that we have been given, that the players are given, are as follows. 1, position is rewarded more than central count. 2, central count is still impactful. 3, a solo has a higher score, but does not invalidate the other results on the board. And 4, if eliminated, the date of elimination has a minor impact. So overall tournament placement will then be determined by the total of the players' 3 best scores across all rounds of the tournament. So basically, if you're double boarding, great, congratulations. Your 3 best scores will count for winning. So if I was to give an analog based on just the guidelines I'm reading, it may be similar to Carnage, but the numbers may be vastly different. Who knows? So very, very excited to find out and see how this works.
Wonderful. Great summary. And thanks for catching that pitch so ably, Karthik. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
There's
100%.
so we are going to, as Karthik has hinted, we're going to play it like the players have played it. So of course now the envelope has been opened. The players are aware, but we would ask those players watching to please withhold your knowledge of the scoring system because we're excited to experience it the way you did, trying to figure it out along the way, trying to understand who's got the advantage. And without further ado, I'm going to pull up the top 10 by last year's DBNI. There are a few names we will recognise, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this lineup.
Wow, what a lineup! Look at all these names. These are people we keep seeing everywhere. These are people, all of them really, are people that do really well. Some of them do consistently really well. Some have more like random moments where they do really well. But I mean, looking at the ranks, that tells you so much already. This is the top 10 by DBNI points. These are the people who are highly ranked, and looking at this list, it makes a lot of sense. Usually, we call out names that really stand out to us. Any of these people could win this tournament. I'm really excited.
Absolutely. Isaac, thoughts?
I always like to shout out the little wild card, and I will shout out here Aurora, who I believe has come over from North America, who's a very up and coming player. So I always like seeing how players from outside the region sort of bring their own style and sort of bringing a almost more North American style of play and how that's going to impact on this tournament and dealing with all these pesky Australians.
Absolutely. Karthik?
I gotta shout out my boy Brandon Austin. I think he is going to win this tournament. Darcy may have the most experience of anyone on this board. I think he's played more than the rest of the top 5 combined, or pretty damn close to it. But gotta give it to number 4, Brandon Austin. I think he's gonna bring it home.
Beautiful. All right, we are going to get straight into it. We are going to jump to round 1, game A. And I'm going to give this first one to Micah and Isaac. So Karthik, I'm going to give you a little rest.
He was there for the scoring system.
He was there for the scoring system. The important Karthik moment, the scoring system. Isaac, could I pass to you to read out our players and powers?
You can. I apologize in advance if I do this wrong, but we have Zubin Bilimoria.
I think that's right. Zubin, if you're watching, please let us know if we can correct our pronunciation.
Stephen Kumar, Dominic Stevens making his way, I guess the Australian equivalent of hopping across the pond. Sean Towers, Anne Gray, Isaac Barrett, and Andrew Goff. Some of these names new. Always love to see some new faces, and some that we're more familiar with.
Beautiful. Well, with that in mind, let us take it away. Micah, I'll give you spring. Isaac, I'll give you fall.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, let's see. We see England doing pretty standard openings. France, sort of as well. Germany decides, let's go to Hoggle and Bite. As far as I've understood, this is not as uncommon within Australian tournaments as it is elsewhere, but it is something that stands out. And so I'm excited to see where that's going to go. We also see Italy doing some interesting moves. Usually the army in Venice stays there, goes to Trieste, goes to Cerolia, maybe Piedmont if you have a pretty aggressive Italy. This Italy and goes to Tuscany. It doesn't do that much at this moment, but it does signal friendliness. So I think what we're seeing here is at least Austria and Italy being friendly towards each other. That's also in line with the Vienna Warsaw bounds. They're just bouncing. Austria can do this because they know Trieste is safe. We see Russia doing a pretty standard opening as well. Turkey, it's Andrew Goff in Turkey. We gotta do this. So he's doing the bounce. He's going to Bulgaria. He's going to Syria, setting
Yeah.
up a good defense and playing with people diplomatically.
I would
In
just,
Australia,
I
at
would,
least, we call this one Goffy's Gambit, the opening to
Mhm.
Syria. Go ahead, Isaac.
I would just note that Galicia bounce because even though it's a thing you can do, it's been getting less and less common over the past sort of year and a half, to the point that it's actually become quite notable and sort of, I'm trying to think of an equivalent. Like you see it with the same frequency you see bounces in Burgundy. Like it can happen, but it's more unusual than it used to be.
Absolutely. And fall.
And they do it again, just for fun. You see England take an attempt on Denmark, presumably expecting Germany to support themselves into Holland and them to be able to bounce that out. As France picks up Belgium and Germany picks up Holland, so all good. Interestingly, they take it with the army rather than the fleet. I personally would have expected the fleet just because it gives you that nicer position, but maybe they were worried about England getting into Helgoland. In the Balkans, everything goes exactly as you'd expect. Nice little move for Austria there by putting the fleet into Romania. And Tunis taken with the convoy. So this is shaping up to look pretty air-shaped, potentially. And I think that's about it.
All right. And now we have adjustments. We have a 3-build France, which Dominic Stevens in France, always scary to see. What do you reckon? Any thoughts on the builds here based on what we've seen so far?
I think I'm going to go pretty bold. I think either 2 fleets or at least 1 wave.
Hmm.
It
Micah?
could be true. I think it depends so much on the conversations that were had. Clearly, England expected to get into Denmark. Was that something that was discussed with France and France passed it on to Germany? Was this just Germany just sussing it out? That's very important on what's shaping up in the West, but I think those builds are going to be very telling. I assume there's going to be at least a fleet and an army. Other than that, really depends on what happened there.
Absolutely. And I'm going to double back on my suggestion to give you each a spring and a fall turn because it's much more fun to get a whole year. So, Micah, I'm going to give you 02, Isaac 03, and we'll go on like that. All right. So, on to. Oh, whoops. Sorry.
Ooh.
Went a bit too fast here.
Hey, 2 fleets
This
and a
is
wave.
interesting.
Turns out I was
2
double
fleets
right.
and wave. Wow.
Clock
Thoughts?
it. What takes my eye? How do you say it in English? What
Catches
grabs
your
my
eye, yeah.
attention? What catches my eye is that there's no build in Sevastopol. With the fleet in Romania, you might have expected there to be a fleet in Sevastopol or at least an army, but no. Isaac is going for the 2 armies. Could be anti-English, could be just defensive. It's so flexible, and there's no enemies at this point. So I think Isaac's put themselves in a very good position there.
Good stuff. All right. Talk me through spring.
Okay, so England did build fleet Edinburgh, but must have sensed something and must have noticed that those fleets were not intended for Italy, but were rather coming to them. England does what they can. They try to defend. I like the move from Yorkshire to Wales. It's a good defensive move. It's going to be difficult for France to get through. Another thing that happened is that Germany goes east. Either England has made a friend, and it's an EG now, or Germany is in a Western triple while France is not. I don't know what has happened here. It's suddenly very interesting. I think this is a good turn for England, but we'll see if it actually is. Other than that, we see Russia going towards Prussia. Maybe Germany's moves is not necessarily pro-English, but it's more anti-Russia, which in return is for England.
I wonder if
We do
Germany
see
got tipped off about the Russian moves.
Possibly. I mean, there were two army builds when it could have been something else. Um, Austria in goes to Galicia. Italy goes to Aegean. There's movements towards the east everywhere except France.
Hmm. Oh my. And fall. Oh wow.
Oh, a lot of movements, a lot of arrows that are not red. Um, okay, Germany does take Sweden, but Russia gets into Norway. We see Stefan just completely moving back. It seems like there was some sort of an agreement because he's just walking out of Norway. Maybe this is how they rearranged the north. We also see Russia backing off in the middle of the board, so I wouldn't be surprised if this was some sort of deal that at least Germany and Russia made, but probably England was in on it as well. We see France continuing the attack on England. They are being very brave. Without help of the rest, it's going to be difficult to break through. At the same time, it's Dominic. Maybe he will get help from the rest, and then this could go down for England very quickly. We see Italy convoying back to the mainland. Austria continues their attack, which is clearly on Russia, but also supports Italy. I'm wondering what the negotiations are like between Italy, Austria, and Turkey, because
Hmm.
Austria isn't properly attacking Turkey yet, but are also not stopping it from happening. And they are in a position that will make it easier to attack Turkey later on. I think we've got an AI with Russia and Turkey not really working together yet.
I think it's an RG in the north rather than an RG. I think England just knew Norway was undefendable. There's three on it.
Oh yeah, I think so too. They are definitely together. England might be part of it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. Adjustments that are interesting here. What do you disband if you're England? What do you build? I'm actually interested in all of the builds, honestly. But what jumps out to you? What jumps out to each of you?
The Russian disband is harder than you think because you've kind of got an even split going on in your position. So you've got to pick a position to weaken. If I would expect Finland to come off the board here, I think you can still defend Norway and you can still push with Germany. And you seem to have still a decent diplomatic relationship with them. Whereas in the south, it seems like you need all of your units just to try and hold yourself in place.
I think with this English disband, it's much more likely that France will be able to break through, even if there's not necessarily help. Like that, France needs Germany and Russia to not help England. But as long as they do nothing, that's fine. France is in a strong position, has another build, is friendly with Italy. I'm curious if we'll see some Germany-Austria
If
collaboration at
you're,
some point.
if you're France, do you want to see a fleet or an army from Germany?
Hmm, hmm,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
A wave.
I mean,
No
a
way.
fleet feels safer, but an army gives Germany more options, which is also something that's great for your ally.
Yeah.
All right. And the answer is disband Eddie, disband Finland, build army Kiel, build army Brest, build army Vienna.
So a very deliberate decision to punish the French.
All right. Isaac, take it away. Spring 03.
We
Oh
see
my.
North Sea Falls through the RG again. Once again, without France really being involved tactically, possibly they're working together. As Wales falls, England gets into France gets into now, so Liverpool is guaranteed. The AI is in full force with the fleet getting into Bulgaria, and Turkey takes Aegean, but Bulgaria should be holdable, I believe. And everything else on the board stays exactly the same, except Berlin takes a nice little wander over to Prussia. I think probably more likely to defend Warsaw than attack it.
I'm interested to see how that works. Talk me through fall.
Okay, I was wrong. Prussia is here to attack Warsaw.
I had no visibility of this, by the way. I see what you see.
As North Sea is taken, which is good tactics from England, block off that convoy route, which is also nice for Dominic because it means he gets Liverpool and Germany doesn't get any of that growth. You see a bit of betrayal here as Denmark moves up to Sweden. Sweden moves over to Bothnia. And there's a wonderful little retreat into Norway because it dropped down to Skagerrak, as Warsaw is also tapped to try and get Galicia in, but sniffed out by Isaac because he taps Romania. Bulgaria is indeed held. So we will have some interesting Turkish disbands and Russian disbands. Although I think they probably just abandoned the northern position. But really good turn for Dominic. Decent turn for Sean. It's AI versus FG. Basically.
I just want to call out something that I think we haven't really paid much attention to. Austria is playing a really strong game. I don't know this player, but you can see from all the movement what good diplomacy is going on. They got Germany to go after Russia. They might not have gotten in here, but that doesn't matter. They have an ally. They have someone who's not helping Russia. They have the units. No one is attacking them. They are getting Italy into Bulgaria, which Italy can never keep unless Austria decides that it's okay for them to keep. Austria is in an amazing position. Really well done.
I would agree with that. It's like, who is their enemy on the board? Not even Turkey, who they're ostensibly attacking, seems to be upset with them. All right. And our disbands and builds, adjustments. Let's just roll.
Wants more fleets.
all makes sense.
Extra
Sev
boat.
coming off is interesting.
Sev coming off is interesting.
Rather than Skagerrak, which is sort of what you'd expect. I guess Russia went, I want to punish you, Germany. You were mean to me.
That's certainly my read. Micah for spring 04.
Okay, England is gonna survive in the north. France might take their centers, but England will survive in the north. I was already curious because Germany built an army in Kiel. If they wanted to go east, they would have built it in Munich. That, to me, signals that Germany and England have some sort of discourse there. And we see Germany going up indeed. England goes to Norway. Germany does walk out, so maybe some deal has been made, but maybe not, given that they did attempt to go to Norway and did not get in. It seems like there was an attempted convoy to Livonia, which doesn't work because Bosnia is not in Baltic. Does again signal where Germany wants to go. Russia is their clear target. France still seems to be attacked by no one, is getting all the English dots, has the fleets, no pressure in the south. So well done, Dominic, as well. We see Italy walking out of Bulgaria. I'm not sure why this is a good deal for Italy. I can see why it's good for the alliance. I'm not sure why it's specifically good for Italy. But sometimes having a good alliance is all you need. We do see Apulia moving to Venice. Maybe some deal has been made there.
It's a purely tactical line. Bulgaria is the only unit that can be tapped, so Bulgaria is the unit you use to move.
Yes, but would you want to as Italy here?
I mean, if you want to make progress against Turkey, I think you have to.
You don't have many other options, but I do see Austria profiting more from this position than Italy at the moment.
Austria's been a good ally. We'll see if they stay that way.
Very generous, Isaac Jukes. All right. And 04. Wow, Austria's a really good ally.
Hey, listen, commentator's curse is real.
No, they are right, because this was the deal. Austria gets into Bulgaria and Italy takes Trieste. I think that's fine. They are in a better position now. So this is all fine. Austria is in a better position, I think, because they can more easily take things. But Austria probably recognizes that needs to be big enough, because France is coming. France will have 2 builds. The fleet is in Western. France is going to build more, and Italy is next in the menu, presumably.
I love this pivot from Dominic.
It could
That
also
is
be Germany. Maybe both. We'll see where it goes. Dominic can do whatever. Something interesting is that they're actually convoying out of Eddie. Um, that's very good because it means Stefan is more likely to keep working with them, and those two fleets in the north are very handy against Germany. I agree with Isaac. This was a great pivot. Austria's advancing, France is advancing. Germany, unfortunately, not so much this time.
And don't you just hate it as Italy when you've got a nice detente with France and you're like, we'll just grow better if we stay out of each other's way. And then in fall, France drops into the Western Med. All right.
Yep.
Probably a good time, actually, since this has been such a dynamic turn, to ask you both who do you like on this board? And Isaac is so offended at the concept that he has left.
I can just put
But I'll ask
more.
you, Micah.
It has to be France. Even if everyone attacks them at the same time now, they still have a decent position. Plus, they have the two builds. I'm guessing there will be a Fleet Marseille Army Paris at this moment. England is still working with them. They can pretty easily take Eddie whenever they want. They're going to take Ruhr next. Germany has a disband. Fantastic France position. I think that's the one you have to pick on this board. That being said, I do think Austria also has a nice position. It's a good position. It's not a winning position when this is your France, but maybe they can do something about it.
Let us see. And since Isaac is taking an extended sojourn, you're lucky enough to have. All right, there are adjustments. We do not have a Fleet Marseille.
Ooh.
I'm interested in that. I'm interested in your thoughts on no Fleet Marseille.
Well, my thought is Western is there to defend. No need to make Italy upset. Go Italy, go kill Turkey or Austria. I don't care as long as you're not attacking me. What a game! Dominic is playing so well.
Yeah, what a good diplomatic choice, if that is indeed the diplomatic choice. Be interested to hear from players in this game what was happening, but in those dynamics without spoilers for the
Yeah.
board. But always interested to hear from people who were there as to what was happening.
Dominic,
Even
I
if it
picked
was
Dominic.
not.
You've been beaten. You have to pick someone else, Isaac,
How
not
dare
Dominic.
No.
Who if not Dominic?
Who is not Dominic? That's a good question.
Who
Wow.
if not Dominic? Who is? In fact, there are 6 other players on this board who are not Dominic, but all of them probably wish they were Dominic.
I've been ruined. My internet's ruined my chances. No, if I'm not picking Dominic, I'll pick Zubin. I think the Austrian position is quite strong. They're a decent position to profit off the East. And I think like they seem to have the diplomatic ability to keep Italy on side, Russia on side, or Turkey on side, whoever they want. And although Turkey's on 5, they're sort of all relatively minor powers, if this makes sense. So like you can flip between them quite easily, which makes your position in the East generally much more holdable.
I just want to make one more comment. If everyone on the board indeed does respond to France, never underestimate Andrew Goff.
Very good point. Very good point. And Isaac, since you're back, you do get to do 1905. Take it away for us.
Wonderful. So Austria walks into Serb, puts the Italians into Con as Italy, as Turkey takes Aegean. Italy turns around, starts trying to deal with the French as Austria moves over to Tyrolia, presumably to try and get Piedmont sorted. You see England going full throttle in the north, moving up to Barents to try and maneuver around St. Petersburg. There's a blow up of Ruhr, which is very, very nice for Dominic as he gets into that position. And Sean just moves fully back to defend himself properly. But he's going to have guesses. So rough position for Germany. AI holding the advantage or Dominic holding the advantage, we'll have to see. Alliance versus tactics, who's going to be the winner?
And fall. Oh, wow.
Austria decides that, listen, it's okay, Germany. I'll cover Munich against France just in case they go for it. France doesn't go for it, so Austria gets in. Oh no, what a shame. Italy gets pushed out of Caen. On the one hand, they don't get the center. On the other hand, they can retreat to the Black Sea, which is a lovely little place to be. And Austria, I want to shout out this move here, actually. Some good board management, putting Germany into Warsaw rather than taking Warsaw yourself. Because if you want to slow down France, you want to prop up Germany. And as you can see, St. Petersburg goes, Sweden goes, Munich goes. Lots of people are eating pieces of the German pie. But I think this is an excellent turn for Austria. It's an excellent turn for France. Other than that, I think it's sort of an average turn for everyone else. Although that French unit in Tyrolia is going to be very annoying for all of them to deal with. It's always rough when something slips in behind.
One thing is not average. England builds.
I'm so glad you said that. This is a very plucky game from Stefan, which I'm not surprised by, but it's just so cool to see. It's like, what? You're down to one home centre, you're outposted in Norway? Nah, get a bit more of Scandinavia. Why not? Yeah.
What does England build, though? That's the question.
Fleet. Wait, no. Ooh, good question.
Yeah. Is England sticking with France? That's the question.
Good question. Trying not to get into commentator mode.
England waves. England waves.
That is so friendly. That is so nice. All right.
Germany pulls Warsaw, makes sense. All the other builds make sense. Apart from England wave, how exciting!
Very exciting. Stefan is the first to say that he is a great ally, and I will say his moves on the board do indicate this.
Wave counter at 1. This is an Australian tournament, so I'm going to be keeping track of all the waves.
I'm going to hold you to that. All right. Micah, Spring 06.
Hey, it seems to work. England is still working with France, and France has not attacked Edinburgh yet. It moves back. Russia holds on to everything they've got, not attacking Warsaw back. They're just peaceful in their own little corner. France tries things. Some of it works. They get into Denmark. They do it from Helgoland, which is interesting. Helgoland could have helped with Kiel maybe later. At the same time, there's a lot of support units. And France loves being in North Sea because you have options. And France likes having options. We see Paris moving back to Gascony, whereas Burgundy and Piedmont bounce in Marseille. I think that's a good move for France because it means they can now support themselves back in. They're still in Tyrolia. Austria takes Trieste, which is curious. Is this the Austrian staff? Is Austria going for it? Or is it something else we're seeing? And might they try and get into Tyrolia next term? We'll see if the alliance sticks. Turkey does things. It's quite a successful defense. Turkey has been on 3 for quite a long time, but keeps making the right calls. I'm calling it a guess, but of course, there's a lot of negotiation to it, and it's not like flip a coin. Some players do. My guess is that Andrew didn't. Solid tactics there.
And into fall. Oh,
it is such an exciting game. France does take Eddie. Poor England. Wave, and this is their thank you note. At least they don't have to take something off the board because they have the 2 units. France does try to support England into Baltic. This might not even be a stab. This might have been agreed where England just helps France. France tries to support themselves into Munich. This is again unsuccessful. We see some attempts to move around in the north. Nothing really happens. We do indeed see Trieste getting into Tyrolia, so that was all the friendly move. France gets into Tunis. That was not necessary with where the units were. Italy could have defended. maybe they were worried Austria was going to do something, or maybe Turkey was going to do something.
Mm.
Maybe this is just a misorder. I think that's probably it because Ionian is moving to Tunis. There's no reason
Mm.
Tyrrhenian Sea should support Ionian. So I think this is a very unfortunate misorder where Anne has just risen the support rather than supporting the move. Ouch for Italy.
That's my read as well.
Yeah.
I think I will just jump in and say I think that the way that Austria and Italy have dealt with that French Tyrolean uh, unit is delightful.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was hanging back there,
And
and now no more.
another technical +3 for France here
Mm.
because of the blow up of that unit as well.
Yeah, Austria is growing
Actually,
too, still
sorry,
in a great
plus
position.
+4 for France because they're getting 3 centers and they have a rebuild.
All right. Actually, oh my gosh, +4 and only
Yeah.
3 places to build. Oh, the agonies of not being Russia. And Austria does not build because in taking Tyrolia, they've also moved out of Trieste. Very strong
Yeah.
alliance play.
Zoe, until what year are those games, or is that one weird Australian secret also?
That is a great question. They are time limited, they are not year limited. And since they're playing to a central clock, in my experience, central clock tournaments, if you do have all your orders in the box at a certain time, you can always read early and take extra time, etc. So there's not a standard set end year. But from the time and my recollection, I don't think these go to double digits. Not this round.
Okay.
Not this round. Alrighty.
Okay, interesting. Thank you.
07.
It's hard to imagine Dominic not just dominating and
We
winning this.
see. Yeah, I know. It's so rude that my internet broke, so I couldn't pick him. We see France gets into Baltic, gets into Kiel, loses Denmark, but will be able to take it back without any sort of issues. Brings 2 more fleets round to fight in the Mediterranean. As Russia takes a little dive into Warsaw, as Austria positions around Munich and Berlin, potentially offensive, potentially defensive. Italy just sort of holds their position as is, with the French now support holding them, presumably saying, be afraid of Austria, be afraid of Austria. And that's about it. It's basically just how many more dots can Dominic have?
Yeah, but
My
also in the
goodness.
system, we were told that position mattered, but number of centers do too. Austria
Yeah.
has 8 centers and has chances to get more.
Mm, not for nothing. Follow 7.
You see a drop into Galicia. Austria gets Ankara. They get into Ionian, presumably with consent, based on this French position, as France gives England Denmark in exchange for Norway and keeps Kiel. So more growth for Dominic, but still got to keep an eye on Austria because they're going up 1 and they're keeping all of their position. Unlucky guess from Andrew Goff there of going for Bulgaria rather than Greece.
Absolutely. Still 2 builds for Dominic, and he makes full use of them.
Shout out to Isaac getting a build as well. Love to see
Wow,
small powers with
nice.
builds.
Absolutely. Yes, the retaking of Warsaw.
Yeah.
And into 08. And I have a spidey sense this might be our last year. Micah, take it away.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the live comments we're getting. Thank you everyone for commenting. We appreciate it a lot. Tristan said that '09 was the longest possible in round 1, if they recall correctly. So that does mean that Zoe was correct, and that there's this game is probably not gonna go on for much longer. France moves and moves and moves and moves. It's going everywhere. What a position. England's still on their side. I thought after last turn, I'm not sure if England is on side. No, England is fully on side. They're in position to maybe even take St. Pete now. There was an attempted convoy to Livonia, but Isaac saw that, so that's good. Isaac went there to 2 at some point, I think, because now on 3 is defending the best they can, and if the game is not going to go on for much longer, they might stay like this. I do see Austria making some movements as well. I would not be surprised if Austria ends up going for Warsaw, Moscow, maybe even both at some point, just to get as many census as they can. They're also getting into Con. Um, yeah, this is great for Austria. Also great for France.
Fantastic. Yes. My goodness. Also, I did just want to call out, I don't know if my pointer is going to behave. Probably not. But oh yeah, this support.
Ooh.
Grumpy turkey, saying, you know what? You've pestered me all game. Here in my dying breath, I will make Ion French.
Fair enough. Goffy has been defending very well every single turn, has kept being attacked even when this friend was growing like this.
Through to fall.
We see France advancing even more, because why not? They're in Piedmont now, Turanian Sea. We see England going back to Sweden. France gets into North Sea, now has position on Denmark as well. It's crazy. We do see Austria taking Warsaw, keeping Ankara. Yeah, there's complete trust between Austria and Italy because Austria's not defending Romania or Bulgaria. That's cool. I think Austria's just trying to get the best game out of this that they can.
Yeah.
I don't know this player. Zoom in. I'm really glad you're here. You're playing great.
Just a little tactical note for Stephen. If you're going to Sweden to defend it, there's literally no harm in doing Finland supports Denmark to Sweden because France has 2 on it. If France wants to take Sweden, they can. If you're not doing anything else with Finland, you might as well prevent that move from France of taking it away from you.
But it's a show of trust, Isaac. The trust is evident on the board.
If it's a show of trust, why are you covering Sweden? Either stay in Denmark or go to Sweden with support.
They're giving Denmark to France.
All right. Winter. And we have 2 builds from Austria. My goodness. Austria on 11 builds 2. France on 14 builds 1. Italy's building. We've got a disband in Turkey. And let's see. Do we have one more year? I think we might have one more year. Isaac, I'm throwing to you. How exciting.
We see Smyrna gets taken, Trieste gets taken, Venice gets taken. Austria goes, sorry, Italy, but if I want to try and win this game, then I have to go through you. Although they are going to have some problems around Black Sea unless this has all been agreed.
They can lose 1 at most. It's fine.
Yeah, Munich is lost as you get a little retreat into Tyrolia and they push up around to try and take around Berlin. But unfortunately, that does not happen. France just pushes into Munich, holds their position elsewhere. This is going to be a race between the 2 of them at this point. A race I think Dominic has won, but still always worth it to try and take the shot. You never know, might cause some people to turn.
And not for nothing when you've got centre counts in the mix in a scoring system as well.
Exactly.
Let's see. Hold on. Let's count. Can Dominic... How many can he get to?
Oh.
I've seen in the chat that the reason they did that was to stop a French solo.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I was counting and looking like maybe Sweden, Denmark, Munich if you're lucky. That's 17. It's close. It's close.
Yeah.
But this is your turn, Isaac.
These moves from Austria do cut off the possibility of France being able to get to that 18 because they can get... Well, actually, if they took Denmark and Sweden, I think they could have done it because they got into Greece with Turkish support. But France pushes further, gets into Greece, can't break any of Italy because of the way they've set up the defense there. Get into Munich as England grabs St. Petersburg and Austria grabs Moscow for a very strong France-Austria finish.
Oh,
Well, they're
Here we
saying not
go.
sure if that was best. It's always good to try and stop a solo.
Yeah.
absolutely. And we do have our final builds. And bringing us to the end.
Wow.
What a game. I'm going to bring Karthik back, who I believe has been watching with bated breath the entire time. What did you think of that
Indeed.
game?
I thought it was a masterclass by Dominic Stevens how to play France. Once he got going, he really never looked back. And as Isaac probably pointed out, had Dominic taken Denmark and Sweden, he could have had a solo. But Dominic chose to pass it up, but still has a fantastic score of 1100, whatever that means in whatever context this is. So probably a pretty good score.
Seems like a big number.
Sure does seem like a big
Yeah.
number. And I'm thinking
1100
we
is bigger than
might.
900, so.
Sorry, say again, Karthik.
I think 1100 is bigger than 900, so quite a bit.
This is true. Bigger than 900. All right. I think we're going to do a couple of faster boards now. We might just go 5 minutes for each. So I'm going to start with our round 1 game B, and our players are Jonathan Morris in Austria, Emily Cavanis in England, who ironically is traveling from England, I believe. This is quite an international tournament. How exciting.
Yes.
Welcome, Emily. Charlie Murphy in France. Charlie's been at a few tournaments recently. They're great value. Sean Coleman in Germany, Connor Muirhead in Italy, Claire Bradbury in Russia, and Caton Lee in Turkey. I think I'm going to do this the same structure. So Micah, if you take even years, Isaac, you take odd years. So Isaac will start, but we'll go at pace. Alrighty, so just call out what you see. And
Really excited to see Emily here. Emily's been at, I believe, 2
Ooh.
face-to-face tournaments, has been playing more online. I've worked with her in a game. She was very good with taking disappointment and then turning it into something better. And that's something that's often very good in diplomacy players. And if you're able to do that as a newer player, I'm really excited to see what she'll do here.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, very excited. You see a covering of Trieste, a DMZ of Gal, Black Sea Bounce, pretty standard moves in the west. In the east, sorry. In the west, you have standard moves other than that pesky little move to Burgundy, which they walk straight out of into Belgium. So, all peace in our time. They get a nice little bounce in Denmark for their troubles of doing such a outrageous move, and Connor's in Greece somehow.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Connor's in
Oh,
Greece.
Connor's in Greece. I thought you said Con is in Greece, and I was like, no, it's not. It's in Con. It can't get there from there. What are you talking about? Con or, yes. Connor's in Greece. There you go. Micah.
Okay, we see England advancing in the north, is in Skagerrak now. There is definitely an attack going on. The question is just on whom. We see France advancing into Picardy, into Burgundy. The fleet gets to Mid-Atlantic. Flexible, can go anywhere where they want. It seems to be headed towards Germany, though. Italy proceeds to work with Turkey and gets into Serbia. We see Russia jumping in on the attack on Austria as well. It seems like we all attack Austria, just as a little funny thing. Case in the side, I'm also going to be in Armenia just for fun.
Oh my. And even Charlie wants to get in on it.
Yep.
Yes, he is not quite able to make the move, unfortunately. Tunis gets taken now, as well as Trieste, as well as Serbia. 3-build Italy, why not? Awesome, that's really cool to see. We see Russia taking Budapest and Vienna. This seems just like a strong alliance that definitely includes Italy. It's just a question of who it includes as well. Will it turn into a wintergreen? Will one of them try to work with the weaker power here? We'll see. In the north, we see that Denmark gets taken by England with Russian help, and we all attack Germany now.
Yep.
Yes, and I believe we say farewell to Austria. Thank you for playing. Sometimes it
That
is
was
like
quick.
that when you are Austria. It is an unfortunate fact of life. All right, 03, Isaac.
This is already a pretty nice wintergreen position. Italy pushes up to the line, moves into Ionian and Aegean as Russia pulls down. France just holds position as England advances into Scandinavia and Germany plays defense. France takes Belgium as the EF continue to make advancements. England tries to take Sweden, but it gets sniffed out by RG, who are presumably working together at this point. And everyone's playing nice in the East, which will last forever because famously in diplomacy games, nobody ever betrays anyone.
Russia built a
Ah.
good defense.
Absolutely. All right, Micah.
Or maybe it was not a defense. It was bam, let's go. Claire just goes with everything. It seems to be a wintergreen here. Italy and Russia are working together, going everywhere. Claire thought, haha, you wanted to be in Armenia. No, you're not. Claire's favorite region is Armenia. Maybe that's why she decided to attack Turkey. England takes Sweden and takes Holland. At the same time, France does go into English Channel and Irish Sea, so that's a bit curious. I wouldn't be too happy if I saw that as England. But they are getting the bill, so as long as France doesn't attack them everywhere, they might be fine. But it looks a little like France might have decided that they're going to work with Germany now.
If you build in Liverpool, you can defend. Oh, but you're in
Yeah, there's
spring.
fall.
Yeah, I thought this was fall. I can't read.
No, we do see France getting into Liverpool. England does get to keep their other census, and France does support Holland. So that's definitely interesting. The wintergreen keeps going. Russia's in Bulgaria. Russia's in Armenia. Italy's in Eastern Med. It's a wintergreen, and they're doing well.
Is Aegean support holding Smyrna there?
Yes, it
Weird.
is.
I'm guessing
Interesting.
that's some sort of misorder, right?
Oh, maybe it's just being friendly. You know what it was? I bet it was, no, of course I won't support myself into Eastern Med. A show of
Might be,
support.
might be. Something we
all
also
right.
see here is that the East is just seems to be resolving themselves more quickly. I'm interested to see how that goes now that the West is also sort of resolving and how they'll clash.
Yeah, but the West have had a pivot, which is rough. So France bounces Irish as England pushes back out, makes their way into Skagerrak and down into Kiel as France breaks rules. So the EF are still making progress. But the IT's coming to the line at this point, having broken Ankh at the cost of Turkey getting into Armenia. But I think they should still be in a position to finish killing off the Turks by the end of the year.
Oh my.
France gets into Wales as Italy gets a push up into Kiel from the Germans who are dying. There's a nice little. I love a convoy to Sweden. I love to see a convoy to Sweden. It's a beautiful little convoy when you can pull it off.
That is lovely.
But unfortunately, it does come at the cost of Holland. So a clear junior partner position. Bulgaria goes. Ankara goes. Smyrna is bounced, which is unfortunate for Connor, but they seem to be playing reasonably defensive, and he's getting 2 builds elsewhere. This is all IT at this. This is all IR at this point. With France maybe able to play catch up.
I was going to make a bad joke and say, international relations. Frosty international relations. No. Micah for 06.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Yes, the wintergreen is going. It's a strong position. Italy's getting into Smyrna now. They have killed
I think they're also
Turkey.
being
Thank you.
stabbed.
Hmm?
Galicia and Bulgaria.
I don't think necessarily. They could be, but it also seems like Italy is currently on 10 and gaining Smyrna. So it might. My guess would be that it's some alliance balancing, especially with what we see elsewhere on the board. But maybe not. We'll find out. Maybe you're right. Um. Okay. I don't know what this is telling me. Russia gets Smyrna, but Italy is walking out. So I think that's a good sign. That means they're still working together. We see Russia getting into Vienna. There is a move into Romania, which costs them Sevastopol. So Turkey is not that. Turkey is now in Sevastopol. Um, hmm. Italy
Under
does. Oh,
context.
right.
I think
Italy
this
does
is
get into
related.
Warsaw. Yes. Okay. So now the question is: was it a stab, or was it rebalancing? If I'm Italy, maybe I'm not happy with Russia putting everything towards me at this point.
All right. Adjustments. Spring 07. Isaac.
I'm going to go with it being a stab based on these moves. Italy continues to try and play up in Germany and down in France, retreats to Piedmont, pushes their way back as Russia goes out of the Black Sea into Con. See why I confused them with Turkey? We're going to be in a position to retake Armenia. Yeah. And France pushes back to try and defend against the Italian threat. But I think this is going to be a war between IR.
And it draws.
A
Interesting.
nice 10-10. They shared.
They shared. Do we like this result?
I think they're shared by force rather than choosing to share based on the moves. No, I think Claire at least can afford to play another year to just take Sev. You have these units to be able to do it. Italy, there are guesses around Italy, but nothing you can't defend against.
But with the scoring system, position matters and census matter. It's probably not going to be a huge difference between 10 census and 11 census. And the
It is
first place versus a shared first place doesn't seem too bad.
But you don't know that, right? Position mattering means that 11 getting you the lone top could be of huge significance.
It could. It's the first round. Claire's a friendly player. Claire keeps her agreements. I would not be surprised if they made some agreement to do this, so they stuck with it.
All right. I'm going to bring Karthik back on stage. We are going to do two more quick ones. That was nice and punchy and a really interesting game to go through quickly and feel that pace. I'm going to ambitiously attempt to go 1, 2, 3 and hope that we have multiples of 3, but then switch it up on the next game. So we are going to jump to round 1, game C, where we have lots of new names to me. Well, a few new names to me. Lexi
Can I take
McCutcheon
a little
in
break?
Austria. For sure.
I'd like a little break, yeah, thank you.
It's
Have a
Karthik.
break.
Karthik shows up, Micah immediately asks to leave. I understand.
I do not like Karthik, we all know
Exactly.
this.
How rude.
So rude.
Exactly.
All right. Beautiful. Let's hope the combined ISP issues between Isaac and Karthik do not leave me having to stand in as a commentator, because I am not the strongest commentator. All right. Austria, we have Lexi McCutcheon. England, we have Crystal Ram. France, Jasper Klein. Germany, Jacob Searle. Italy, Peter McNamara. Who? Jude Connor in Russia, and Jacob Peter in Turkey. A few Sydney players, a few Canberra players, a few formerly Canberra, now Melbourne players, a Melbourne player, intercity rivalries. All right, one moment. Let us take it away. I think I'll switch it up a little bit. So, Karthik, I'll give you the odds, and Isaac, you will have the evens. All right.
Okie dokie.
Okay.
Take it away, Karthik. Just calling out what
So
we
we
see.
see a relatively standard opening by the Western powers, with Marseille going to Spain, Paris going to Burgundy, France going to Mal, classic French. We see the Germans going with the most standard popular opening, and the same for the English. In the East, though, I want to call attention to the move to Tyrolia and the move to Armenia. That's where we see like the really big differences between what we see in normal cases and what we see here. Potentially going to be some anti-Russian aggression and Italy choosing to be like really like aggressive in their choices of actions. Let's go into the fall. In the fall, we see Turkey backing down and going to Constantinople while Armenia stays put. We see Peter trying to get a little clever, a little cheeky, and trying to sneak into Vienna. The Austrians choose to self-bounce in Trieste, saying, I'll risk Greece going and getting bounced out by the Turks in order to guarantee that Peter gets nothing. And we see, most interestingly, though, of all the moves, Jasper Klein going from mid-Atlantic Ocean to Spain's south coast. It's very, very possible that Lexi McCutcheon may have some help coming in from the west. Also, just a simple bounce in Belgium, probably arranged, and then a move to Norway. Very cool stuff.
Peter
Good night,
McNamara is a scary guy.
Such a scary guy. If he's in Tyrolia, you gotta go back and cover Munich.
Exactly.
Anything jumping out in builds? Anything exciting?
Two army Germany, sorry. No
True.
fleets.
Nothing wrong with that.
Coast and not building in
Yeah.
Spain South Coast out Marseille is an interesting choice.
And
True.
also pretty rough, given those German builds. Going to be hard to come back.
Yeah.
Although the fleet is in London, not Liverpool, so you may have an English friend.
All right, Isaac, tell us what we see
You
in Spring
indeed
02.
have an English friend and a French friend. They support the French into Belgium as England drops down into Helgoland. So whatever this is, it is not a Western triple. Germany pushes out into Baltic as Peter bounces out Eastern Med, but is potentially going to lose Ionian depending on how Greece falls. France goes to Picardy rather than the English Channel, so I think France is sort of hedging a little bit, and Russia's deciding that Bohemia is a lovely place to be for lots of different things they can do. That's about it. We've got a kind of AT as they take Romania, but don't do anything about Ionian, backfilling Bulgaria just to be safe. Vienna is supported in Tyrolia, but does not take it. Very interesting. England pivots back to try and attack the French here as Germany moves to cover Kiel and to cover Rouen. Very important that they did, as France just pushes back up into Gascony, ending up not being punished for that army move to Portugal after all.
All right, still no fleet Marseille.
Yeah.
Karthik,
Not necessary, I guess.
03.
Yes. So we see in the east the convoy to Albania. Very, very interesting move. Very fun when it works. I don't think Peter has the firepower necessary to do a ton of damage with it right now, except for the fact that the Germans are coming down with their support. I think because Germany recognizes the danger of the AT, this is what gives him the necessary force to really potentially crush the AT. Because with Russia's position, it's hard for them to make the attacks necessary on Romania and other places without that extra one unit that will now, I think, give them that capability. In the west, we see Picardy getting spread out into the English Channel. We see Denmark getting covered. So all in all, I think the FG will start doing a lot of damage to England here.
Lo and behold.
And so as I was saying, right, like Russia is having a really, really big positional issue here, because of just a variety of choices causing me to stretch a little too thin. But because the Germans help, they're able to get somewhere here, right? So they're able to get into Vienna, they're able to get into Romania, and they lose Sevastopol. This does mean that there is now an army behind Jude, but on the plus side, this does mean that Sevastopol can retreat into the Black Sea. I'm really, really excited to see how the tactics play out and to see if this works out well for either of the two and who is the biggest benefactor of it all in the end. Unfortunately for Peter, though, the army that gets convoyed into Albania is destroyed by force not too soon later. I think Peter was hoping for Turkey to stab Austria, but it seems the AT remains tied together. Jasper gets a strong convoy right into London, while Crystal convoys into Denmark with support. Very, very fun stuff right there.
So much of this feels
Little
just like the
carnival, you know?
board shifting, spinning. Yeah, it's like a carousel, people getting on and off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Where they stop,
Oh,
nobody
dear.
knows.
Oh my. So after all of that, we have Austria 4, England 4, France 7, Germany 4, Italy 4, Russia 6, Turkey 5. Okay, it's winter 1903. Let us continue on. Isaac, what do we see?
We see a push up into the English position to guarantee Liverpool as they push down into Gascony. So FG still being all friends with one another. Russia continues to push against the Turks, retaking Sev as well. They retake Sev, but with Turkey pushing into Greece here, this may be a juggernaut getting back together rather than anything else. You see, there's an attempt to support the Turks, the Germans into Trieste, which they do not take. Yeah, I think this might be secretly be a juggernaut again. But let's see if that gets commentator's curse again. Oh, it's me still because we're in the same year.
It is you.
Liverpool gets taken. Kiel slides up into Denmark without any opposition. So FG continue to FG as England just tries to hold their position as long as they can. Nice little. Is that Serbia getting into Romania? Serbia gets into Romania because Armenia taps Sev, as Austria tries to as Russia tries to move against the Austrian position. Peter gets into, I believe, Trieste. Yes.
That looks like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And wonderful.
Oh, goodbye,
Yes,
little red boat.
Between Isaac and I, we have one combined brain cell and about a megabit of data. So let's see. In spring 1905, we see the continuing onslaught of the RIG alliance just moving down into Austrian territory. But there's a twist this time because Jude convoys Romania into Armenia with support, which is just super fun to see. It seems that the East oscillates being tired of Turkey and being tired of Austria. And as a result of them, with Austria and Turkey now flipping back and forth, going on the defense against each other, neither of them will be long for this game, unfortunately. It was a pleasure seeing them at their highs, but unfortunately, it seems that it's all down here from here. This time, Peter does get into Albania. I do not think this army will be disbanded this time. In the West, we see Germany and France working very well together, with Germany sliding up into Skagerrak and Denmark. And I think, if I had to guess, the untaken support of Liverpool for the North Sea is a prelude of what will happen this year, or this term. In the fall.
Fascinating. I wonder if that was just misordered.
And as predicted, it was indeed a prelude. It was a wise choice not to take it in the spring and give an unnasty retreat, but you have to now then cover everything. Here, it retreats harmlessly to Yorkshire. Nothing they can do about it. Allows Jasper to slide his fleet into Norwegian while going for the North Sea. Super fun fact, though. The Germans, not a big fan of that. They decided to support the Russians into the North Sea, leaving the English alive with a single unit on the Isle while they take Sweden as well. So, good stuff. In the east, we see Russia taking Romania. Yes, and sure, they could keep Helgoland. But Italy takes Serbia while Russia takes Romania, which means that because Budapest was taken already, Austria is dead, just with the army stranded on Armenia. Very, very rough turn for Alexei McCutcheon. It's been a pleasure watching them play. But thank you so much, Fall 1905.
I just want to shout out this move from Jude. All the way back at the end of last year, I think, or possibly this move in the spring. This is a move you can do when you're fighting someone that's quite effective,
brilliant.
which is slightly more advanced, which is you just do something like this where you push them forward so they're out of position. You don't actually want to work with them. What you're doing is you're saying, go far away from the things that you own, because when you're far away over there, when I come in and attack all of them, that unit isn't going to be able to do anything about it. It's a nice little slightly more advanced maneuver to let some of our newer players know about, where you try and push someone out of their position to be able to kill them more easily.
No, it's because you're working in such a great alliance and you're great friends, Isaac. I thought when people tell me that, I always assume
This is the type of subterfuge that players like Isaac engage in that is far below the friendly play that me and Zoe engage in.
What? Let me just translate. What they're saying is, I'm honest about it, and they'll lie to you about it.
All right, whose year is it? It's Isaac's year.
Okay, so we get a bounce in Western Med as Peter starts pushing towards the French dots as he grabs Budapest with German help. As Bulgaria pushes up to Romania. So everyone's decided they don't really like Jude, except for France, who wants to put them back into Norway to try and defend and get rid of that pesky little English dot.
Poor old English dot.
Bold move to not cover London there, but it pays off as France takes Norway and pushes down to defend against the incoming Italian onslaught. Germany gets pushed up into Galicia, which is always a fun place to be. There's an exciting little convoy over to Bulgaria, so we'll see, have RT finally worked out their differences, or are they still going to remain in an ever-present war? The jury is ever-present war.
Ever-present war. Karthik, continue walking us through the ever-present war.
I do love a good ever-present war. So we see the move into the Black Sea and a sport attack into Sevastopol. I think that the Italians are also taking Vienna while getting, I think, pushed a little bit in the Mediterranean. But I think that's a holdable position for them. The French managed to get their army in Edinburgh back on the continent. And that's going to make a huge problem for the Germans because Belgium slides into Ruhr, which is just devastating. Germany, I think, assumed that there was going to be a peace, given the fact that they're supporting Belgium to hold, but Germany very, very much understood the French plans here.
Alrighty.
Into the fall.
Game over.
Game over.
Game
Good
over.
Stuff. Well played by Jasper Klein. Very, very strong French play this entire tournament so far, and this is just another example of it. So big, big kudos to Jasper Klein.
Absolutely. We have... Go ahead, Isaac.
Is someone who isn't France allowed to win the game just asking for a friend?
We shall see. We shall continue to see.
Yesterday, last round.
I didn't hear you, Karthik.
I did not hear that either.
Oh, I was saying we saw the last round.
No, I think France has won all the games so far.
This is good. What was that line about sharing 1 megabyte of data and 1 combined brain cell?
Yeah.
Seemingly we've forgotten.
Someone in the comments can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm 90% sure that France has won all the games so far. Oh, there was a shared top, right?
Yeah,
that doesn't count. That doesn't count. That's basically
literally my last one with shared top.
Whatever. Well, listen. No. I'm gonna get out with a technicality. It was a shared top. Shared tops aren't wins. Everyone knows that. So still only French victories.
People can shout Isaac down in the comments. We appreciate it. Let's do one more quick run
make
through.
Sure to boo Isaac loudly.
You can't boo loudly in comments. I don't think that's possible. Is it? Is it?
Absolutely.
It's called all caps.
Oh no. Let's take the same. Let's take a similar approach.
Exactly. Sharing is caring. Damn right.
Yes, agreed. All right, so we're going to do one more quick one and then we'll do a bit of a longer one. So Austria, we have Darcy Morris. Again, I ask who? England, Shane Armstrong. Who? James Lieb in France. Max Wanji-Robanks in Germany. Who? By the way, I'm saying who because I know them very well, and I'm sure that a lot of DBN viewers do as well. Sean Coleman in Italy, so I believe that's Sean double boarding. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. We have Kim Gibson in Russia, and we have Brandon Austin in Turkey. And once again, I must ask who. But let's take it away. Let's do a nice swift one. We'll do the same order. So Karthik, you're in spring.
Yeah.
You're in odd years, and Isaac is in even years. All right.
Yep. Okay. Fun stuff. I'll focus on the East first. So we have Venice going to Trieste while there's no bounce in Galicia. Potentially a very, very strong AAR about to happen, given the fact that it goes to Rome. But Brendan also opens with Ankara to Constantinople, and Ankara is just that he feels very, very comfortable with Kim. So is Paul at honestly, who the fuck knows what's gonna happen in the East? Like, hard to say. In the West, we see classic English moves, classic German moves. But other than having Marseille support Paris or Burgundy, as generally happens when Marseille doesn't go to Spain, Marseille just holds. So very, very curious to see what that's about and what the French plans are going forward. Okay. And then they try to go to Belgium, bounce with the Yorkshire Army, get Spain and Portugal, all fine and dandy. Kim is now supporting Bosnia after not being there in the prior turn, which means they do not have Sweden, and Shane has a very safe position in the north. We also see the taking of Greece and Sean moving forward into Aegean, trying to bounce out Brandon. So it seems that we're going to have a juggernaut versus an AI here. But with a fleet in Romania that can't really do much against Austria. So rough position for the RT.
Oof.
Yep.
Yes.
St. Petersburg to Sweden, a very common move to right, especially when you're coming back after 20 years of diplomacy retirement. God knows I've written that order one too many times before as well. So, I mean, it happens. Happens to the best.
Yeah, amazing stuff. And we love to see returning players as well. Big shout out there.
Absolutely.
All
Shout
right.
out Kim Gibson. Let's go.
And let us move on to spring.
We see England get into Belgium as France moves out into Lyon and Mao. So my Western triple alarm bells are sounding, but only quietly sounding because we're not guaranteed yet. As Russia gets support into Sweden, Russia also clearly thinks there might be a Western triple as they push up to Livonia and St. Petersburg. You see the RT continue to RT as Smyrna drops into Eastern and Konto Aegean. But the big move, I think, is that Darcy decides he'd like Trieste back, please.
It's a wrap.
Isaac, it's still your turn.
It's a wrap. My computer was being mean to me. It is still a wrap. Tyrolia gets taken as Trieste is held. Ionian is lost. Warsaw pushes up. Russia pushes up into Germany as England defends Sweden. So Russia's still getting that build. France has decided, hey, it's a wrap. I want to get in on that fun. So they come to Tuscany and Western Med because everyone decided that Italy had to die.
Oh dear. Maybe it's a kindness because I do note that Sean is double boarding in round one, and I will admit, I will own up. I have totally been like, so and so is double boarding. We should help them out and take them off this board. I know I'm a bad person.
You are.
I'm your words, not mine.
All right. Use some of your own words, Karthik. It's time for Spring 03.
Well, you heard it here first. Zoe wants me to speak at length, so I shall do so. Austria takes Venice by force. We see Tyrrhenian Sea being plowed into by the French, which will put Tunis at risk. And yeah, in the north, we see Warsaw going to Silesia, Prussia getting bounced out of the double bounce by Baltic and Munich, and also the Southern Fleet sliding into Livonia rather than going to Bothnia. Very, very fun stuff here. But Shane just has to go over the top. I think Russia will have a hard time dealing with Germany before EG gets to him. So, yeah, let's see what the next year has to do with us. Oh, wow. Okay. So, Germany managed to get Sweden. England managed to take St. Petersburg. And it's truly disaster here because also Russia guesses wrong on Berlin. Max manages to support himself into Berlin and balance that out. Silesia could have walked into Munich, but obviously that's only with the benefit of hindsight. So it was a very, very good guess by Max. I am curious why he didn't have Munich support Kiel to Berlin. I guess he assumed that Tyroli was going to be free to do something. But Tyroli just chooses to support Venice when probably there's 3 Italian units. It was a good idea for it to do so. But Tunis falls. But I want to call attention now to the 2 most interesting moves on the board. First, Constantinople getting convoyed to Apulia successfully with Austrian support from the unit in Venice. And then also the Italians sneaking into the Mid-Atlantic Ocean while Portugal is undefended. I think this is very, very fun to watch. Always a good vibe, always a good time. Yeah.
And enjoyably, because Italy still has 2 home centers, that Mid-Atlantic Ocean, that pesky Mid-Atlantic Ocean unit can now wreak havoc for quite some time, should Sean choose to do so.
And Sean
And
does
he
indeed.
does.
So that unit Sean immediately goes, "This is fine. I don't need to be Italy. I'm France now," as he walks into Marseille in Spain.
Mm-hmm.
You see Brandon moving back to Caen as Vienna pushes up to Galicia, meaning that I do not know that this rat is going to stay a rat. I think they might want to do some rodent control and just go classic AT. As Silesia gets into Munich and Apulia gets into Rome. So it should be a nice little push. Baltic is lost as England pushes down. No, I have to go to English Channel now in Irish. It's not against you, France. There's just an Italian fleet in Mao. I promise. I'd never do anything against you.
You're my best friend.
If only, yeah.
England takes Mid-Atlantic Ocean, of course, once again to defend against the Italians, I'm sure, and pushes up into North Sea as Portugal and Spain are walked into. Galicia gets into Ukraine as Bulgaria takes Romania and bounces the Black Sea, as France picks up Rome as Turkey takes Naples, but I think the AT should be able to take that back relatively easily. Italy's decided Iberia is their new favorite spot to hang out. The Russians have pushed very far forward into Burgundy, which is sad because I think Burgundy is probably the unit that's gonna. Oh no, Romania's been blown up, so Burgundy is not the unit that will come off the board. Burgundy is a very fun position to hold.
Yes, that classic statement, Burgundy, where Russian armies go to die.
Yeah.
But maybe not yet.
Have you never seen a 3-center Russia in Burgundy before? I feel like it's a very common position.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I can't.
Happens all the time.
All right. Okay. 05.
Okay, so
What is this board? If I just blur my eyes, the patchwork is quite hilarious.
yes,
Go on.
it's magical colors going on right here as the Mid-Atlantic Ocean fleet slides into the Western Med. Marseille manages to support Lyon into Spain, and because Portugal doesn't support hold Spain, but rather tries to tap Mid-Atlantic Ocean, Spain gets popped because Burgundy goes to Gascony, denying Spain any possible retreat.
Obviously.
Why is the Russian unit in Gascony? Who knows? We then have the Germans getting convoyed into Livonia, while Ukraine just slides into Warsaw free of charge. Sevastopol slid into free of charge. There's no real way to stop Moscow from falling here. So I think Kim is unfortunately dead to rights and the fall. But also worth calling note to is that Venice managed to support Naples into Rome, giving the AT a decent position to work with here against the powerful RG of Shane and Max. Shane and Max versus Brandon and Darcy.
Terrifying.
You see an exciting move where there's a convoy to Sev that's ordered and then not taken.
Yep. Classic Brandon. What are you doing, my
guy? Naples is covered as I believe the French hold on to Rome, covering Tunis. The Italians, the French walk out of Spain as Spain is bounced by the Russians, meaning that Italy keeps hold of Spain and I believe has a rebuild that they can't put down.
Yep.
England drops into Mao and English Channel as they cover St. Petersburg. And Germany decides, actually, if I'll have Warsaw. If the AT want Warsaw, I'll get Russia to give it to me instead. But other than that, the AT continue to make progress. It is just EG versus AT at this point.
This is the actual year you were meant to talk through, Isaac.
Yeah,
but that's
exactly.
okay.
I'm stealing my tune.
You can have spring. You can have this spring, Karthik. It's okay.
Thank you for giving me this worthless turn to commentate. The Turkish units just walk up Italy. The French take Spain, which I thought they already had, but then I guess they gave up. But they're taking it back this time. And that's it. Literally all that happened.
Go ahead, Karthik. You can have the full year. I'm so nice.
Thank you. You're so generous. All right, so now the French support the English into Portugal. Piedmont gets blown up, and I think that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Ooh, and we have some builds, and the game is over, and we have a 7-7-7-7. How do we all feel about a 7-7-7-7?
I think it's the only result one could reasonably expect from a game that has Shane, Max, Darcy, and Brandon in it in the round one.
Oh boy, yes. And now
a Scarlet Letter or Marcus Shane for sure. And if this was DixieCon, they would receive from David Hood what is known as the Brook Award for what are you guys doing? Come on now.
Bucket of crabs.
Bucket of crabs, exactly.
And now we have one more treat for round one, the final board, which we have not yet had the pleasure of covering it. I'm going to bring back Micah Blom to the stage to join us. And Micah, I'm not going to ask what you think of a four-way 7-7-7-7 draw, because I feel like it might be more amenable than the rest of us, and we don't want to hear that.
We're all friends.
They're all friends.
No, friendship is illegal in this game.
Friendship is illegal. With that, Isaac, you're being punished for that terrible untrue statement that's anti-four-way 7-center draws. You are being removed for this longer coverage. We will just stick with Micah and Karthik. As much as I say longer, we do all want to make sure that we're getting through this at some pace so that everyone can see their boards. So I'm going to keep this somewhat shorter at about 15 minutes. I'll run us through who we have on the board. We have Jason Gray in Austria. Hello, Jason. Kyle Dean in England. Kieran Gill in France. Germany is Brandon Austin, so double boarding. So that sort of explains the four-way 7-center draw, sort of. Nancy Jin in Italy. Arden Goff in Russia. And Aurora Atman in Turkey. I'm very excited for this board. What are your immediate thoughts?
I think Nancy hasn't played for a bit, has she?
That's true. I think, yeah, absolutely. I'm interested
to see like Nancy play. Oh, sorry. I was excited to see Nancy play, and I'm also excited to see how Aurora handles this. It's always fun to see the single North American player that goes to a tournament in Australia. There's always one. It's just a rotating queue, and this time it's Aurora, so I've got to see how they do.
Oh, amazing. I'm going to give Micah the odds, Karthik the evens. Let us go to Spring 01. Micah, take it away.
Okay, we see almost nothing really interesting. It's all really, really boring and standard. The only thing that stands out is Italy going to Tyrolia. Nancy is seeing her options. Other than that, nothing of note.
All
How
right.
can you be bored by Guti Gascony in Spain, though? This, like, this is so fun for France. It's very lovely.
Gascony in Spain. Where did that? Okay. All right. I don't hate that. I know I'm probably wrong for saying that, but I don't hate it. Anyway, let's see what happens from it.
I think it's super flexible. Yeah, there we go. England puts themselves into a good position, ready to go towards Russia. France can do whatever they want because they've done it in such a way that everyone is their friend. We see Italy getting into Trieste, but also into Aegean, so I'm guessing this is still Austria-Italy collaboration. We see Russia getting into Romania by Turkish support, and we also see a bounce in Black Sea. So I think at least for now, Russia and Turkey are on the same page. Belgium's interesting. No one is in Belgium. They could have been, but they're not. It seems like Germany is deciding to prioritize Munich here. It wasn't necessary, but it was safe.
So we have a lot of 2 centers going up, handful of
Yep.
1s, no 3s.
No Tunis taken, no Belgium taken. Very fun stuff.
No Tunis, no Belgium. Lots of neutrals. That's exciting. What do we see in O2 Spring, Karthik?
Okay, so we see the English move merrily along as they support themselves in St. Petersburg. Arden Goff managed to get into Finland. So they do have some good position on Scandinavia to cause some chaos around Norway and St. Petersburg. But the one issue that they have, unfortunately for them, is that Brandon is also coming at them with a full head of steam, supporting himself into the Baltic Sea. Kieran goes from Mid-Atlantic Ocean down into Western Med, while Bruss slides into Mid-Atlantic. Just that we have a very, very strong Western triple in play, with Munich also paying Nancy Jin back and dropping into Tyrolia himself. Nancy, to her credit, moves into Piedmont, recognizing the threat that France is about to pose, and then moves to Tyrrhenian Sea. So there's going to be some sort of duel over the Western Med and Tunis. I guess that's in Tunis, or maybe a convoy into North Africa. Who knows? However, Nancy does have one bit of success here, though, that's really, really important, and that's a successful attack on Bulgaria. One of the huge issues when you're trying to deal with Western Triple is Turkey. Do you just leave them there? Do you immediately move to the west? They're choosing, I think, to go and take out Turkey, or at least neuter them a little bit. Let's see how it works out for them.
All right. You again, Karthik.
The fall is also still me. So the Germans take Sweden, while the English managed to hold on to both Norway and on St. Petersburg. Good turn for them. We see the convoy to North Africa happen and the back to Tunis, as I mentioned, while Turkey simply cycles their units down. I think Turkey saying, hey, I get there's a Western Triple. I'll play nice for now. I'll relax. You guys do what you have to do. And then quietly whispering, but I'll take what I want when I want it later. Very, very good position for Turkey. Good negotiation, good diplomacy. Excited to see where it goes.
All right. Oof. Tough position for Russia. Are these the right disbands?
I mean, not really, because you're already probably not going to get Finland or Bosnia. So if I'm in that position, I would probably try and see if I can savage the rest. But I mean, it's not good.
It is
Not
tough.
that much you
Tough
can do.
choices. All right. Talk us through 03.
Let's see. We see so much. There's a lot of things going on. We see Tunis, so that is France actually going infrared. But Nancy is just gonna be able to get it back. Um,
Ooh, that's fun. We've lost both our commentators. There is a lot happening on this board. I wonder if I can pull back in Isaac briefly. Isaac Jukes. Earth to Isaac Jukes.
We don't need Isaac on here right now. We need proper commentators. So we have Mid-Atlantic Ocean sliding up into the Irish Sea. We have Western
I'm
Med
here to
going
save you
back.
once I've unmuted myself.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So we do see a
Karthik's already
breakdown of the Western people here.
I can leave. It's okay, Karthik. I'll leave. I'll leave.
Sit down, both of you, and commentate this game.
Sit down. This is just payback for Isaac stealing, 1 year from me. I'm stealing 1 year from him. So Belgium goes into Picardy as we see a breakdown of the Western Triple. We see Sweden taking over Bosnia. We see Tunis being taken by the French without any Italian opposition for now. Very, very interesting stuff here. Also very cool. We see the move to the Black Sea and the move to Armenia setting up what will be a guaranteed attack on Sevastopol if the Turks want it. This is just such a beautiful turn of realignment. Very, very fun to see.
And into fall.
Okay, Karthik's not going to talk. Very rare for him. I guess I will.
I'll give you the
jump in when you can.
They walk into Liverpool. England covers Liverpool, bounces English Channel. So nice set of moves. As they push down into Moscow, as the England-Germany seem to keep pushing against Russia, when I remember the name of the powers, as Russia loses Sev, retreats to Romania. But there's a push from the AI who continue to work together pretty successfully. So it's AI in the West versus, I think, EG. AI in the East versus, I think, EG in the West. If AI is in the West, they've probably already won.
Ooh. What am I doing? Going too fast and then too slow. My apologies. All right. We have a Russian disband in Finland. And we have another French fleet. I have very much lost track of who should be talking in 1904. And I'm slightly scared to ask.
I'm the evens. I'm the evens, right. He's the odds.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Take it away, Karthik.
Perfect. So here we see Kieran is moving perfectly against the English, getting into the English Channel against the North Sea attempts to bounce him out. Free slide to North Atlantic Ocean, giving a guaranteed attack on Liverpool in the fall. Arden is trying to reposition, but it's, I think, just a little too little, a little too late. Barents will not make it to Norwegian in time to prevent what's going to be massive, irreparable harm. Nancy does take Tunis back now, leaving an interesting choice for Kieran. If I were Kieran here, I think I would have disbanded Tunis, allowing it to be rebuilt as a more useful unit back on the mainland. Instead, they choose to retreat to North Africa. Unfortunately, North Africa has no way out with Mao going that far north. So that unit is just going to be stuck there doing nothing for a while. We see the AI working very well together, sending Tyrolia to Bohemia by force, with Trieste making it successfully with the Viennese support. We see Turkey losing Smyrna to the AI attack, and if not for the Germans, Romania would have fallen. So almost a very, very successful turn for the AI.
And once again, successful board management by Brandon there to try and keep the other side of the board from going too fast. You want them slowed down as much as possible.
Absolutely. Very, very, very good diplomacy by Brandon there. So now we see Barents does not even attempt to make it into Norwegian. And rather than going for the guaranteed attack on Liverpool, which they could have done via a convoy had they wanted to get the army on, they instead decided to have the convoy into Wales with support, which goes, but was not guaranteed to go because London could simply supported Liverpool there, and then it would bounce out Wales and would have bounced out the North Atlantic attack. But because of both units seeming to have no order written for them, goes in just fine. The huge issue, though, is because France convoys the army into Wales, instead of having Picardy defend, they lose Paris to just a defendable free walk-in by the Germans. So losing Paris, losing Tunis is a really, really rough turn by the French, which should have been a coronation for them, honestly speaking. We then see in the east, failed attempt by the Turks to take back Constantinople. So that goes Austrian. Smyrna goes Italian. So now the Turks will be down to two centers, both Ankara and Sevastopol. No attack on Romania this time because the Austrians are forced to defend against attacks on Galicia, while the Italians defend against attack on Tyrolia. And yeah, Brandon's doing a really, really good job using his pieces to keep them far away from being able to do anything to his homeland, but also making sure that AI cannot resolve the East nearly as quickly as they want to, or probably should be able to, if not for it. So major kudos to Brandon Austin.
For example, Austria is currently +1 and cannot build.
Yes.
Ouch. Meanwhile, Germany continues to grow. Isaac.
Yes. We have a lovely little push. London walked into Belgium, potentially by agreement, potentially because EF have got back together, but I'm going to guess by agreement, as Germany pushes into Burgundy, holding Paris, and continues playing around in the east. As it walks down into Smyrna, as Bulgaria is lost through Russia supporting the Turks down out of Sev there. Italy is pushing their way west, seeing their opportunity to get involved in this French attack / propping up. But other than that, we just see really strong continued EG cooperation. This is always a nice thing to do, and it makes a lot of sense. This, like, England going into Belgium. I mean, Brandon couldn't have stopped it if he wanted, but you go, right, I'm on 9, you're on 6. We should probably give you one of my centers so that you'll still want to be my friend.
Yes.
Because contrary to what I said before, because I don't want to get cancelled again, friendship can sometimes be important.
Is that a friendly rebalancing though? Because when I think about friendly rebalancing, I'm probably not moving 2 units to be able to fight against it. But I don't know.
I mean,
I don't know.
You cover Holland, and Burgundy can do things like get into like force your way into Gascony, right? Burgundy isn't necessarily an anti-Belgium unit.
This is true.
Let's find out. Burgundy
However,
is an anti-Belgium unit, as Brandon walks into Belgium and takes Norway, as they push into Galicia, and Austria gets up into Bohemia, which is annoying for them, as Turkey takes Greece and pushes forward into Ankara, having been in Smyrna. So it's hard to tell if this is AI dysfunction or AI rebalancing. I think it's probably rebalancing. There's a beautiful little retreat to Romania there as well. But yeah, Germany, Italy, Austria are the ones to watch.
I was about to say thank you for playing Arden Goff, and then I realized they've retreated to Sevastopol. So no, not thanks for playing. Continuing playing. Wild. Alrighty. Okay. Continued growth from Italy and Germany, and Austria is a rebuild? No, a build.
No,
From
Austria had building block that they weren't able to use from last year because they had Vienna and Budapest occupied.
alrighty. Okay.
Let's go
And
to the spring.
beautiful.
Okay, so unlike what I expected, Nancy gets a free walk into Portugal, which is very, very nice for them. But does not get into Spain. This will be very, very nice in the long term, I think, for them, so long as they can get another unit over there. I thought they were going to build a fleet so they could do so, but digress. We see Austria mopping up Constantinople and Bulgaria. And I think this is just going to be a very, very strong AI if they stick together, which I think they kind of need to in the face of this very, very strong play by Brandon. Though, if they want to here, and I think they probably should consider it, they could have a really, really good central triple that just like cleans up the board within like the next like year and a bit. Which, given the scoring system and how it works, I think would be a pretty decent score. Yeah. So Germany takes St. Petersburg here. Moscow does not make it into Sevastopol because Black Sea supports to hold. Germany slides into Romania, which is very, very interesting here. Germany convoys into London, which I did not see coming, while also moving into Picardy, potentially in a position to take Brest. Oh wow, this could not get much better for Brandon. Yeah, wow, what a turn for the AGI.
Wow.
And
It's just the
Isaac
G and IA.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Okay, wonderful. +3 is that? +3 and I can't build them all.
Yep.
+3.
Always
can't
hate
build
it.
them all.
Always
Yeah,
hate those
exactly.
positions.
And we say thanks for playing to Aurora.
I don't know.
Very
I don't
sorry
mind them.
that this was the upshot of your first tournament game on Australian soil. On behalf of my country folk, I apologise. And yes, so 3 builds for Brandon, can't take them all, and we move into 07 with Brandon Austin on
Still no
13.
extra fleets. Is the
You don't
game
need
still going?
The game is still going.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is yours, Isaac.
Yeah,
Here
the
is yours,
internet
Isaac.
has to let me see the moves. There we are. Now I can see the moves. Okay. Edinburgh gets taken. London pushes up to Yorkshire. We move just more dominance by Brandon, to be honest, as he forces Trieste with Austrian support. I believe there's a Italian NMR, which is very unfortunate. Walks into Moscow, walks into Brest, walks into Eddie as England grabs Liverpool. Yeah, Brandon just keeping going. If people aren't careful, he's going to be able to get to 18. He's already getting 3 more here. That's going to be 16.
If he takes Liverpool, he has 18.
Oh my.
But I think he'll lose Trieste before that happens. So that's fine. Yes, and that's predicted. He does lose Trieste because they're not going to let him do that. But I'll leave the rest to our good friend Isaac.
Yeah, mate. Okay. Are we in 4 yet?
We are in full. We are.
Okay.
I
think
I
you
was
might
stalling
want
for
to
your internet a
do
little bit.
this one. You might want to do
Okay,
this one
sure.
while I fix my internet.
Yeah, I got you. So while Trieste is taken by force, they had to do that. They cannot defend Sevastopol, unfortunately, which means that Brandon does get Sev, does hold on to Brest, is moving into position to be able to take and force Liverpool. So the East is going to have to try and force Romania off of him or Sevastopol off of him next year, or they're in dire straits. So let's see if they can make it happen.
All right. I'm part of me is like, oh, we haven't played Who Do You Like? But
I like
think...
Brandon Austin. I'll let Isaac speak what he wants afterwards, but I say I really like Brandon Austin here. Which, to be clear, I said I like Brandon Austin at the start of the tournament, like, and the Who Do You Like? So
this is a good point.
yeah.
Isaac, have you had your favorite pick taken from you twice now? Nothing was the stern reply. He rejects the question. He rejects
you lose, I guess.
the question. He is offended that it has even been asked. Thank you for playing Arden. Oh my goodness.
A classic +6. You'll love to see it.
Oh my goodness. +6. And he's still only got... He's got 2 boats. Where did that other boat come from?
He's only built 1 boat.
Yeah, you don't need boats.
Yeah.
You're German.
Brandon needs to learn from me and build more boats. As the Americans always tell you, we need more boats, and do not touch my boats. God. But now let's go see what these 2 boats can do.
They continue playing for 1.
So
and they take Liverpool.
Yeah,
takes Liverpool.
Okay, sorry, yeah, you guys.
Yeah, no, that's okay. We're just playing it by ear at this point. Takes Liverpool, makes an attempt on Marseille, which doesn't go, but loses Romania, unfortunately, meaning that 18 may be beyond their grasp. But we'll have to see. I assume Brandon is still going for the solo, because when you're already at 17, why would you stop?
Why would you stop? But can the board rally against him?
Yeah, I think they can.
Yeah, he loses Rum, he loses Sev, he manages to hold on to the rest of the stuff, so he's going to end up on 16 unless the board conspires to keep trying to take dots off of him. Yeah, that loser score of 16, only 16 centers.
Not to beat a broken record here, but if Brandon had more boats, he may have had 18, is all I'm saying.
Trouble in paradise. Okay. Game over. It is winter and game over. Wow, what a time. Brandon Austin at 16. Not 17 because the board rallied very nicely to keep that large German Brandon in check.
I think Brendan is trying to do his best Liesel impression. I am 17 going on 16. Oh, wait, that's not how it goes.
Oh, dear. He close, but no cigar. All right. So that brings us to the end of round 1. So I can show us the standings. Now, I will say when I last had a look at these standings, end of round 1 standings, they were slightly off because, as we know, some of our players were double boarding. But I have the adjustments. So Brandon and Dominic are actually neck and neck for first here. So they are on exactly the same score, both 16 center first places.
Lovely.
All right. Shall we roll straight into round 2 and get some of our quicker games through first?
Why not?
Absolutely.
Alrighty. Beautiful.
We don't need to care about people who aren't Brandon and Dominic because they're not winning. So
that is not an officially endorsed DBN stance, despite the fact that both analysts have now trumpeted that it is. All right. Isaac, talk us through who we see on round 2, game A.
So I'm actually going to ignore the names for a second. I'm going to look at the places. And we've got some decent middling. We've got like Darcy and Zubin, who are quite close together, and Charlie, who could quite possibly be looking for strong scores to be able to try and make their way up into the top. Also, it's worth knowing this is a tournament, people talk. So everyone's going to be aware of Dominic and Brandon 16, which means I think you're going to see a lot of people going for it this round that might not necessarily have been doing so in round one. I think we will see less 4-way 7-shared boards with Charlie, Lexi, Kyle, Zubin, Darcy, James, and Isaac testing the theory first.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm
And
going
this is a
to...
777. Like, I just want to screen grab of this moment, like, you know, for posterity.
All right, we're going to speed run this one. I'm going to click through and you're just going to sing out Karthik on the odds, Isaac on the evens, anything that you see that jumps out, but not spending all too long.
Okay, so wow, Zoe just
I might
told
have
me
gone
spring
slightly.
1901 doesn't matter. But
I left
Well,
it there for a
before
while.
1901,
You
very,
didn't
very
say
fun.
anything. So I skipped forward. Go ahead.
Anywho, Sevastopol gets supported into Rum by both Austria and by Turkey, while Ankara goes to Constantinople. I think it's maybe another rat. But Warsaw going to Ukraine and Ukraine going to Seb is what throws me for a loop right here. Would love an explanation of that from James. Finland makes it into Sweden. You don't see the move to Finland very often, and oftentimes when you go to Finland, you see it getting punished by Denmark bouncing it out because there's no threat of reprisal of Bothnia going to Baltic ever. So very, very interesting choice. Works out fine for James. We see the convoy going to Norway, while the English choose to bounce out of Belgium, and Germans support themselves in Holland. So I think we can have some guesses on what England wants to do. But the French also put their unit into Spain's south coast, trying to create some flexibility here. Yeah, good stuff.
We're seeing this Belgium bounce more often in this tournament. It seems to be like
Yep,
the move
absolutely.
that's come out of it is just the North Sea Belgium bounce.
Yeah.
Isaac, what do we see?
I wonder if it's like, you know, a Canberra, like, you know, or like a Melbourne or a Sydney hobby thing, like where it originated from, like where it's been seen in sort of these cup and hobby games.
Yeah, we've got England pushing against Germany, France pushing mildly into the Med and taking Belgium, but not really picking a side. Germany going against Russia, and Russia walking out into the Black Sea and being punished with a retreat. As Isaac decides that Russia who's they want to kill, but AI decides Turkey is who they want to kill. So,
oh dear,
all very fun.
quite fun indeed.
We see a bounce into Iranian as Kyle's coming down to save Isaac from Darcy. As EG continue to roll, Munich gets into Silesia, Sweden and St. Petersburg both fall. And France is continuing to play it by ear. This smells a little bit like a Western triple to me.
Could it be? Could it be a Western triple?
It smells like a Western triple.
It quacks like a Western triple.
AI.
What else is saying that to you?
The French are positioning into the Med and keeping Marseille open to be able to build another fleet there. England has taken St. Petersburg with the army and is pushing up there, and is not really trying to contest or fight anything there. They're getting out of Skagerrak. Like, the way I sort of see the Western Triple is if I'm France and I want to stab either England or Germany, that's incredibly hard. If I'm Germany and I want to stab either England or France, that's incredibly hard. And if I'm England and I want to stab either Germany or France, that's incredibly hard. That implies to me that they're all working together because they've denied themselves the position to move on each other.
This is a very good shout. And they all get one build because they're all friends.
Army Eddie Fleet Marseille, Army Munich. Western Triple alert.
Is that the official Western Triple alert sound? You heard it here first, folks. Blah, blah, blah.
That is. Nobody else made one, so that's the official Western Triple alert sound.
Western Triple, all right.
For the rest of the tournament, for the rest of the stream, anytime we see a Western Triple, we have to go blah, blah, blah. All right.
Yep.
Karthik, you're back just in time for the bloody blah.
I made sure that I was going to be here for the rah, and then to watch a beautiful convoy into Tuscany, a slide of a fleet into Piedmont. Not the exact order that you want those two to happen in, but, like, you know, fair enough. we see a supported attack into Armenia, which does succeed because Ankara chooses to go for Constantinople, which means that I do not think Turkey will survive very long. And I think the AIR will have a decent chance to defend against the Western Triple, which is moving a little slow because St. Petersburg simply holds. I think if they were able to bounce something out of Norway, slide down into Livonia, do any number of things, that it could have been a much more interesting, harder fight for the air. But I think the air is moving very, very quickly, and it's a testament to their capabilities as players here. So kudos to them.
Absolutely.
And yeah, speaking of kudos, good work blowing up the army in Tuscany. It does mean that, unfortunately, the French are able to get into Tyrrhenian Sea, and they're going to pose a huge risk to Tunis. But because Eastern managed to make it into Smyrna, and because through an odd set of moves, or if you want to call it incredible guesswork by James, Black Sea manages to slide into Ankara while Armenia walks back home into Sev. And there's a triple bounce in Warsaw, allowing James to not only take Ankara against a very, very smart brace by Isaac, but also be able to build in Warsaw, right where they want to build. So all in all, fantastic set of moves by the AIR there.
Wow, that really does seem like clairvoyance on behalf of the Russian, because the support looks like Austria was giving the support for arm to Ankh, which would have been a brace? Question mark.
Oh no, that would have been 4-3 because Black Sea would also presumably have been supporting it, so it didn't actually matter.
Yeah, it would have braced.
Okay.
Yeah, I take back my overwhelming praise, but still give them some praise because it's still a cute move.
It is a cute move, and you can build in Warsaw. How fun! And so they do.
Just
it is
in
04.
Just in time to immediately lose Warsaw to the Germans.
Oh gosh!
What are you doing? Oh, why is Austria bouncing in Bohemia? Jesus.
Oh no!
Yep, as they push into Piedmont, push out into Tyrrhenian, as France convoys down to Nath, losing Tyrrhenian in the process. With the amount of fleets on Tyrrhenian, probably should have expected to be losing that.
Yeah.
As Belgium drops to Burgundy and Holland drops to Ruhr. I do not know that Germany is still happy with the English because they dropped to Helgoland and Denmark here, which seems like more than you would want to be on North Sea.
It is rather. I do love that this was meant to be quick coverage, but these games are so fun, it's hard to do quick coverage.
Yep.
That's it. Take it away.
Okay. Moscow Falls. Air continues to air. Western Triple continues to Western Triple. How's that for quick coverage?
Very good. Promptly moving along, as we see again, as taught by Brandon Austin, you don't need boats as Germany. Why would you build boats as Germany?
Yeah, well, Brandon could have had 18 if he built boats, so maybe don't listen to Brandon. No, I'm kidding. The Western Triple does Western Triple things, as they put Austria into Russia. Austria into Sevastopol, because that's what Western Triples do. But convoy to St. Petersburg, more units coming over the top. Good stuff. Austria, I think, is done with this whole triple in the east, and they're saying, I want mine. So they top Ankara, move towards the Aegean Sea, put themselves in position to potentially play for Smyrna. And the Italians react in part, but not in the whole. I don't think the Austrians expose any ill will to the Italians. I think they're only trying to eliminate the Russians here. And I think we may draw as soon as that happens, given the fact that no one else is doing anything.
Didn't even have to.
He just wanted one more center because, Austria wanted to be one more center over, I guess. Fair enough.
Congratulations, Charlie Murphy. They did a great job of looking very chill and innocent. And who me? No, I'm not helping Russia. You don't need to worry about me. I'm just growing over here. Sneaking in to the top at 8. And without further ado,
very nice.
jump straight to round 2, game D. Karthik, talk us through who we see and who's where in
We
the
see-
standings.
Yeah, so we see no one in the top 7 here, which is interesting to see. We see our 2 Brick Awards or Bucket of Crab Award winners. Oh, no, sorry. We see a Bucket of Crab Award winner in Shane Armstrong with 8th place. Tyler Peter McNamara also in 8th place. We see Aurora Adaman visiting from the United States. And then we see, of course, hobby legend Andrew Goff, multiple-time world champion. And one of our favorite players to watch, Stephen Kumar. Yeah, gonna be a good time. And Caden and Sean, who are new to me, I'm always excited to see.
Beautiful. Let us take it away. I'll give Isaac 01.
Okie dokie.
Yep.
We see very exciting moves that you would never expect. Some real, some not. Like, for example, you see a move down to Tyrolia. Very interesting. And that's that's the interesting move. That's it. That's everything else is normal. Tyrolia taps Venice, which does not go. You get a bounce in Belgium. This one looking a little bit less arranged than the previous ones, as Aurora gets into Sweden and Romania and Black Sea. So a beautiful little set of moves. It looks like Peter had some sort of arrangement where Greece was supposed to be bounced by Italy, I would presume. Otherwise, I don't know why you would tap Serbia there.
Cartho.
Thank you. So if Aurora had a rough welcome to the Australian hobby, this one is going much better for them. They managed to support Serbia into Bulgaria here, creating more and more issues for Turkey and Peter McNamara. To compound issues, Peter tries to convoy the Bulgarian army back into Smyrna, give himself some more working room, presumably trying to put a fleet in Constantinople. But because Caden Lee is supported into Aegean by Stefan takes Aegean. Sorry, Stefan supports Italy into Aegean, which means the convoy does not go. Bulgaria is forced to retreat to Khan. Aegean's forced to retreat to Smyrna. This is a really, really hard position for Peter to defend from. I do not see Peter surviving past 1904. So rough times for him. Interesting to note. Very, very odd. Venice supports Marseille to Piedmont. The reason why you see this is because presumably Italy is working with France against Germany. Germany's unit in Tyrolia, not really liked by Italy right now, so fair enough.
To be fair, the only thing that Germany did that was aggressive in 1901 was tap Venice. Like, that was the only thing.
Yeah,
so I can understand a bit of ill will. It's like, why me?
Yeah.
All right.
Glad to come in.
Go on.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Zazo. I appreciate you. My show tunes have to be indulged somewhat. No, so we see the Aegean Sea fleet making out to the Eastern Med, really slides into Aegean. You have this like really, really dominant position by the AIR. Does not get the convoy into Constantinople to go. I assume Black Sea is going to support Sevastopol to Armenia, but Valve knows that here as well. Just gets outguessed by Peter. We see the convoy go into Belgium, while Belgium slides in Picardy. So there's something we're going to see in EG here. We're not going to see this like long-term like Western triple or anything of that nature. EG all the way.
All right. We lose Con. And there's a Fleet Liverpool. Okay.
Pretty confirming EG.
Yeah.
England Picardy slides into Brest as the guess is wrong. Liverpool drops down to Irish as St. Petersburg comes down, presumably content to let EG fight France for the moment. Burgundy is lost. Tyrolia makes its way over to Bohemia. Michaelis would be proud. Venice pushes up into Tyrolia with French support as the air continues to air over in the corner.
The 1 megabyte of data is straining and straining.
Okay. It's okay. Tunis goes to gets a beautiful convoy off into Smyrna. Sev pushes down to Armenia. Denmark, just a little tap on Sweden. Not sure why, just for funsies. As England manages to hang on to Brest and Germany manages to hang on to Burgundy through tapping every unit that could possibly exist, except for Paris, which unfortunately is the unit Shane chose to move with. Rough. Yeah, I just keep looking at that beautiful convoy to Smyrna. So beautiful.
It is stunning. Proper good Lepanto.
Okay.
204.
So in the spring of 1904, we have the Germans getting put into Paris. We have Mao going into Portugal, but England not be able to make it into Mao. I'm surprised that they didn't try to have a support attack on the English Channel, but I can understand the theory as well here. Italy is moving west at a rapid pace now that Turkey is impotent. So I do not think that Turkey will be around for very long. Aurora seems to want to use Turkey as a little janissary, but I think at this point they'll get the hint that they just need to take the dot and work with Austria a little longer here. Okay, they do not take the hint, and instead Armenia's fleet gets blown up with help from the Turks and the Austrians. I think the Austrians are like, dude, what the hell? We are working well together. Oh, well, why are you doing this to me? Like, and Aurora, they're like, sorry, I had to look at that and I had to do what was best for me. And they choose to do that. So they are now stuck in what would be probably like a little bit of a protracted war until it comes to a close. In the West, we see English Channel making it into Mid-Atlantic Ocean this time. The English sliding down into the English Channel. And this time also the Germans get into Gascony, which is going to give them a really, really strong position to help neuter and take out the French position. Okay. All you, Isaac.
We've gone vertical for better internet. We see the Austrians push up, taking Romania as the West defends. Well, the West, France tries to defend against Spain, but England, not very happy with that, gets a move forward into, pushes them forward. The EG continues to stand, Sean just holding, as Andrew Goff starts trying to go east, losing Bohemia in the process, but the AI and the EG both seem pretty strong, with Aurora unfortunately being the loser out of all of this as Romania goes to a blow up as well, which is rough in the spring. In the fall, we see an attempt made on Marseille, but Italy decides to switch course and hold them as England pushes around to get better presence on mid-Atlantic, which may be necessary with this Italian help. They push into Austria pushes into Black Sea and into Silesia, which is more important than people think it is for breaking open Warsaw, as they manage to hold on to Romania.
Yes, indeed. I'm gonna say one thing really quickly. Oh, sorry, talking over you, but I really like the prevalence of Italian fleets in Mid-Atlantic Ocean. If I'm Italy and I'm in Mid-Atlantic Ocean, even if my position, even if my score doesn't improve overall, I'm having a great time. That's just
so. This explains so much, Zoe. Actually, now that I hear this, a particular game makes so much more sense.
Oh, not this again! Not again! Gothic, you need to download some of the memories. You need
you gave me a set for me to take it.
Put the USB into the mind of the elephant, extract some of those old diplomacy games, put them into World Diplomacy Reference.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Oh dear. I mean, I do love being in Mid-Atlantic Ocean as Italy. I do. I do. What can I say? It's a pull.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's take it away into spring 06.
06. Not me. Okay. So the Italians are put in Sevastopol with relative ease. Warsaw is put into Prussia with support by the Berliners. Okay, I
yes,
guess.
indeed.
Yeah, that
Yes,
is a
the
thing that can happen.
Berliners. Who cares about
Yeah.
the rest of Germany? It's just Berlin.
Just
Yeah,
Berlin.
exactly. Just Berlin. Yeah. Okay. Sure. Nothing really happens in the west of note other than Sweden getting taken by the Germans and then the unit getting piffed there. Potentially arranged and then just going to walk out. That would be my guess. And then just a unit rebuild in St. Petersburg. Yeah.
If this is an exchange for Berlin, I'm going to be so annoyed. No.
No. It's just a means to be able to enable Prussia to support Berlin and Silesia. Sure, I guess. This does come at the cost of losing Ukraine, however, though. But getting Silesia is huge for creating this nice little stalemate line segment. But Ukraine is a very, very important part of that. So we'll see what they do here. Some damage can be done because Warsaw can be cut, and then it's just a free walk into Moscow at that point. They kind of needed both to happen here if they wanted to lock down and prevent AI from breaking through.
And it is game over.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. All that work and it's game over.
Wow, and another Austrian top.
Man,
Austria dethroning France this round so far.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
I'm excited to hear why from Isaac this does not count as a Austrian top and is actually a French top.
Excuse me.
Playing our France's top tier.
Whoa. What are you doing putting words in my mouth, Karthik? All I said was I hope people other than France are allowed to, I didn't know if people other than France were allowed to win the game. Now I know that people other than France are allowed to win the game. That's all that's happened.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Okay. All right. Now we're going to go into some longer format ones. Let's jump into round 2, a game C, where we have Jacob Searle in Austria, Jacob's in one of those many drawn 8th places, Darcy Morris in England, Jude Connor in France, Connor Muirhead in Germany, Claire Bradbury in Italy, Jason Gray in Russia, and Dominic Stevens in Turkey. This feels like it's going to be a hectic board.
This is a pretty stacked board.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty stacked board. Let's do 15 minutes for this one, 15 minutes for the next one. And I will give... Karthik, you can have the odds. Isaac, you have the evens. Let's get into it. Spring 01.
Okay. So we see what we haven't seen in a long time, which is a bounce English channel. Most important thing to call attention to at first. Outside of that, the next I want to call attention to is the I hate Dr. Solo opening. Venice goes to Tyrolia, Vienna goes to Bohemia, Warsaw goes to Silesia. Man, what did he say to the South to get that to happen?
Oh my gosh. I have a further question. Who do we think instigated that? Who do we think instigated this move?
I do not know. Seeing Gray and Claire Bradbury work together to kill Connor Muirhead like this is something I would not have guessed from the jump, but it is what is happening. So
I think it has to be Claire because I think you don't initiate it as Russia because what does it get you? You don't get Sweden.
Yeah.
So I think it has to be Italy or Austria, and I think Italy's just more likely to benefit off of the push up there from the jump.
But Isaac, maybe you get Berlin as Russia. Maybe Jason's got his eye on Berlin.
But you see, I don't know. I think that Christian Bear may have hit the nail on the head here. I think Con may have instigated it by saying something to all of them, or maybe he's double boarding. I don't know. I don't know what Connor did.
Yeah, definitely.
You're Dr. Solo, I guess.
Poor Dr. Solo. He's getting his doctorate taken away. Fall 01.
Yeah. So Munich falls to the Austrians. And in the meantime, the Aragos happily marching along. Sev supports Ukraine into Romania. Serbia supports Albania, Greece. Convoys to Tunis. Just a rough time for anyone who is hoping for Germany or Turkey to succeed. We see Jude go into Mid-Atlantic Ocean this time, take Portugal with the army, and take Belgium. So they still will be building two. The English take Norway with the fleet, trying to give Russia some space, which is an interesting choice. Like, you'd have assumed from this place that you may want to have the army there to create some chaos for Russia, slow them down as it kind of roll through Germany. But England's like, nah, not fam. I want to keep going, I guess.
I'm enjoying that the codicil to our TD's comment that Connor instigated it is by existing on the same borders, Claire. We've all been there. Okay.
Rough.
And we have a 3-build Austria, which if I was on David Hood's flagship early year show, I would have a little sign saying that's hot because 3-build Russia, Austria, 3-build Austria. Incredible.
It's so rare. You can barely say with a straight face. You're like, what does it even mean? 3-build Austria. Like,
I inserted Russia because that's normal.
Yeah, exactly.
Question, do we get a boat here? Do we get a little red boat?
I do not think we get a boat here. It'd be very, very funny.
I don't think so.
Austria is working with Italy here. I'd be stunned if they want a boat out of it.
Yeah, it's true, but I just had to ask. No boat.
No
That's
boat.
fine.
We're
It's
allowed
the
a
right
boat.
choice. It's the right choice. They're not allowed a boat. Alrighty. And it is Spring 02, and it is Isaac's turn to chat this through.
So we see an immediate pivot as Austria tries to push up into Romania, unless these moves are all arranged, but I would be surprised. We see a convoy from Portugal back to Brest just to try and cover themselves, which I think is a nice little move from Jude there, just to make sure England can't sneak down. And to get around that, it taking like 7 turns to get Portugal back into a position where you can do something with it. The air continues to try and push. Norway pushes into Sweden as England surrounds Denmark. Sometimes this is friendly, often it is not. And we see the air continues to air unless those moves are not arranged over the force on Romania. It'll be interesting to see how that goes in the fall.
Ooh. That was... Ooh. Hello. Stealth IT.
Okay.
Ooh. I'd love to see the moves. That would be ideal if I was allowed to do that.
I thought maybe the boat would have fixed everything, but I guess not.
Karthik has stolen the 1 megabyte of data.
Exactly. With this 1 megabit of data, I'll tell you that Skagerrak takes Denmark here. The EG, not a thing. EF is where it seems to be. Belgium takes Holland. Germany is just gutted here. Dr. Solo, more like Dr. Nomo. Mao goes to Spain's south coast. The Italians start to move west. Like, I think the Italians are like, I need to get some builds. I need to move fast. I need to go deal with this. And let's see if they're fast enough.
Alrighty. And no boats for Austria anymore.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
No new boats for France either. No new boats for anyone.
No new boats for anyone. We want to stay landlocked.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like boats.
They're landlubbers. Okay,
All right.
so 1903. We see the French decide to move wholesale away from Italy, moving back into Spain's south coast, moving into Mid-Atlantic Ocean. Paris supports Marseille into Burgundy, while Belgium goes into Ruhr, potentially being in position to dislodge the Austrians out of Munich. We see the army get convoyed into Denmark, while the fleet gets put into Kiel. Like, EF is just moving in lockstep right now, and it's beautiful to watch. At the same time, the English support Russia into the Baltic Sea, getting them a positional leg up here. We may be seeing like EFR, which is basically a replacement FGR. Very, very interesting sort of movesets and structure and features here that I really haven't seen very often before.
This is a thing we're starting to see more. This is like part of, I don't know if it's common enough to be part of the meta shift, but this EFR, or it's common enough that I've even thought of a name for it that I'm going to debut here. The Entente is you're starting to see it more as like a tempo to try and hit Germany. I don't know if it was popular. I'm sure David Hood will be able to tell us about like
Yeah.
if it was. But like it's certainly coming back as like a popular way to like if you're an EF and you want to kill Germany fast, the best way to do it is to just involve Russia and give them like Berlin and Sweden out of it.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's only starting to become a thing.
So I used to do it, like, and I used to love to do it. We would have where Russia goes to Silesia, and then you have the English convoy into Denmark, and the Russians slide down into the Baltic Sea, so on and so forth. But it's very, very interesting to see it done where AIR makes an early attack on Munich, cannot actually like make the attack progress any further, and then EFR just comes down and sweeps up everything else in Germany as a result. Which I think shows that it's a warning sign not to commit too hard unless you know what's going to happen following it on the Russian side. But going back to the east, though, Russia moves in positions to try and do some damage to Austria, as does Turkey. Italy, it makes like a meme order and then supports the Greek unit into the Turkish unit in Greece into Albania. So just they're down to watch Austria die as well. So just very, very interesting set of moves here.
And never count out Dominic Stevens.
Yeah.
I'm liking this little Turkish creep. Creeping up the board.
Oh, sorry, this is still Karthik. I'm not going to steal his turn again.
Okay, so let's see. What are we looking at here? So we see a retreat to Bothnia. We see a taking of Serbia, and then we see the army from Yorkshire making it into Denmark, while Kiel slides out, and an army that used to be in Denmark replaces it in Kiel. I suspect that we'll see that army in Denmark getting convoyed either into Livonia or into Prussia or into Berlin very, very soon. Very, very good play by EF here.
Absolutely. No one needs boats again. What do they do with all those non-boats?
Boats are illegal.
Boats are
Boats are illegal. This is well known. We got a convoy over to Norway. We got a convoy over to Norway. Push down. Bothnia Falls. Bohemia goes. We got to push up into Tyrolia and Tuscany. As Dominic goes full force, takes Budapest, drops into the Black Sea in Armenia to guarantee Sev, as Ukraine walks out into Warsaw at the same time, which is rough for Jason. This IRT seems to be turning fully into an IT, which always ends up happening because you end up in this rough position as Turkey, where Russia always wants you to build fleets and Italy always wants you to build armies by the mid-game, so you got to pick a friend. Meanwhile, the EF continue to EF. They should have St. Petersburg pretty much guaranteed this time, and Berlin if they so choose. So it'll be interesting to see whether they choose to balance or go after the dots. And they choose to go after the dots. You get a convoy back into Denmark. You get France taking Kiel as England gets pushed forward into Berlin. I don't know how much I'd love that as Darcy. Not from a centre count perspective, but more positionally. I don't know that I want France surrounding me that much.
Yeah.
As they take St. Petersburg, as Sev falls and Rum falls, and Budapest falls. So Dominic is going +3 as Italy pushes into Vienna, and Italy and France are pretending to be at war, as they so classically do.
I enjoy that Marseille and Piedmont are just sitting there looking at each other over the border like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello. Okay, we have a build for France. They wave. Farewell to Austria.
Oh, we've got 2 more waves. Wave count is at 3.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Very few waves for an Australian tournament. I'm disappointed.
Okay. Karthik, talk us through.
Yeah, so I think we're about to see another dominant result from Dominic Stevens here. as Sevastopol just walks straight into Moscow. Romania walks into Galicia, putting Warsaw at huge risk. We see a bunch of nothing from Italy really here. We see nothing really happening from France except for the moves, the little conga line that goes from Holland all the way to Silesia. That is actually pretty cute and will give them the position they need to take Berlin from the English. The only question is, when Dominic is doing this well, do you want to dispossess the English and their ability to create like some like chaos for Turkey in the south, like in the Russian area? That being said, I don't know if Darcy would have ever committed that hard against it. So probably a wise thing to do from Jude in the jet. Okay, and then in the fall, we see that the English take Prussia, blowing it up. We see no attempt for the French to attack the English. Instead, the French just tap random units at seemingly will, but nothing actually gets accomplished whatsoever anywhere on the board.
Although there was some good progress in spring, so probably a good time, and I'm sure we've already touched on it, but let's play Who Do You Like, and I'm giving Isaac the first Who Do You Like because because he's been robbed twice.
Whoa, I'm actually allowed to play Who Do You Like? I mean, I think it's got to be Dominic here. EF have a decent position, but Dominic, he's Turkey. He's in a pretty stable position. He can't lose that much. Italy doesn't have that much growth that doesn't go through him. And he's growing as we talk. Like, I think Dominic, it's going to be hard for this 9 to be taken away from him in a way that's not the same for England and France.
Yep. I will say that, despite me saying that I did like Dominic before Isaac got it in, I will choose a different person because out of respect for Zazo. England is, I think, my next choice. I think that they have a very, very good position. I like Darcy's ability to manage the board quite well. So I do think Darcy ends up coming out on top when all is said and done.
Good rationale. We have several more waves. I think we're on 5 waves for this.
You're on
board.
5. Our wave count is 5, correct?
I'm just waiting for the board that's going to be the PIF train again. I miss the PIF train. All right, Spring
Listen,
06.
we got to count something every stream, and we decided it was waves for this one.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true.
So we see
Very
Livonia.
appropriate for Sydney with the surf. Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, we see Livonia gets forced. Kiel goes back and covers Holland. I think both as a good alliance move and a good defensive move. I really actually like this from Jude a lot because it moves you away from like that Berlin, Denmark area where England is going to be worried about you. But also, it means that your lowlands position is quite protected, which if England is going to stab you, that's probably where they're going to try and do it. In the east, we see Dominic pushes up to Caen. The Italians push down into Tuscany, push down out of Tuscany into Tyrrhenian even, as they tap Budapest for reasons that I'm not 100% sure of. I don't know what Claire's doing there.
Neither do I.
I would be going to Tyrolia and Piedmont here if I was sticking with Dominic, or I'd be supporting myself into Budapest if I wasn't.
Yep. We'll move to Albania more likely, but yeah.
There's a move into Greece here, which is maybe agreed, maybe not agreed. I don't hate it from Dominic if it is, because it gives the extra fleet to be able to start going after France properly.
Yep.
We see North takes Holland, also by agreement, as France gets pushed into Warsaw. So good alliance play and alliance management from Darcy and Jude there. As we just see the game continue as literally just EF versus IT at this point.
Yeah.
All right.
Game over.
Game over.
Dinner time.
Dinner time. All right.
By the time of the dinner break in Australia, so.
And this is a 999 for Darcy, Jude, and Dominic.
Well, better than the 7777 before.
Yeah.
Darcy's just
But-
slowly graduating. One of these days, he'll be allowed a score by himself.
Yes.
In this tournament. All right. Let's roll right into round 2, game B. Exciting times. Player list. We've got one Brandon Austin in Austria, Jonathan Morris in England, Max Swanji Banks in France, Jacob Peter in Germany, Sean Towers in Italy, Jasper Klein in Russia, and Arden Goff in Turkey.
Interesting set.
Let us stick with the same order, I think. So I
Okay.
believe that was Karthik Odds, Isaac Evans.
Sure.
And if I have mixed that up, my apologies in advance.
That's fine. I like it. Let's do it.
All right.
Okay. So remember how I said bouncing the English Channel, super rare, not really done much anymore? Well, back-to-back games, we see it. Morris and Max bouncing there. And another regular set of moves is Berlin to Munich, Munich to Ruhr.
Normal.
Yeah, never really seen that ever. But it's an interesting set for sure. We also see an older set from Jasper where you have the DMZ. So Warsaw goes to Ukraine, Sev goes to Black Sea, and then Moscow tries to follow it up. But of note is that despite Russia doing a DMZ, Austria does not reciprocate. Britain has to go to Galicia anyways, and this could be a very, very dangerous position for the Russians now.
Naughty Brandon.
Naughty Brandon.
I'm sure it will work out very poorly for him.
Okay. And then now we have a bounce in Bulgaria.
Zero build Russia.
Yeah, it's a zero build Russia because Russia also gets bounced out of Sweden. Germany gets Holland and then sends Munich to Silesia, which makes the zero build even more devastating. I think Britain has had some very, very good negotiations with Jasper based on these moves. We see the French take Belgium and stay in Spain while pulling the fleet out, potentially sitting out at a strong attack on the English. Yeah.
Alrighty. Anything surprising? I'm shocked that Germany has built a fleet. I thought we'd stopped doing that now.
No. They build one fleet, if you remember correctly. They build one fleet, and then they aren't allowed to build any more. They've hit their fleet quota for the whole game.
Okay, let's see if they keep to that dictum.
Okie
Tell us about
dokie.
O2.
We see a push up into Tyrolia, but Sean clearly seems to be sniffing something out there because he stays in Rome. But we see the AT continue to push. Weirdly enough, the fleets don't push out, so this might be some sort of weird IRT. No, the one where they all attack Russia. That combination of ladders. The nice little brace. Yeah,
good.
Nice little brace from Jasper there to hang on to Warsaw. Very nicely done. But I think Sev is going to be lost as the Norway walks straight into St. Petersburg for a start. Sweden's bounced. And France does break English Channel, though. So it's unclear what exactly is happening in the West. This seems to be a classic situation we've had a couple of times, which is the West hasn't really figured out what it's doing alliance-wise, and the East seems to have a pretty solid alliance going. So it's just going to be a question of, can the East kill the people they want to kill before the West finishes resolving? And breaking Sev is a good start, although interestingly they do it with the fleet, which implies that some sort of deal may have been reached. This is very good negotiation by Jasper because they get into Baltic, they get England to walk out of St. Petersburg, and they get Sev taken with the fleet. So they're very much still in this game. They've lost Warsaw, but that was impossible to hold in this position unless you did a brace again, but you guessed wrong because you probably assumed that Romania was tapping Ukraine. Um, Ionian pushes up to Apulia as Brandon takes an attempt on Venice. Burgundy retreats back to Munich, and English Channel makes its way into North Sea. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how Max is going to play this, and how, more crucially, whose side Jacob is going to take in this fight.
Can I just say it's never a bad idea being in the North Sea, even if you know you're not going to hang on to it for long, because look at all those gorgeous retreat options. You don't have it like there's no actual bad choice. Everything is fun.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Oh my god, it's another fleet from Germany. Correct
Finally.
decision, Jacob.
Brandon, go
Brandon,
go
look at
yell
this
go
guy.
yell at him. Go yell at them.
No,
Say that's
Brandon,
not how you play Germany.
learn from him. Jacob knows how to play Germany. More fleets, baby. Let's go.
Oh dear. Okay. It is 03.
Yep. More fleets in the north is how you play this game. Brest goes to English Channel. Portugal goes to Mao. It's beautiful to watch. Absolute cinema, as the people say these days. Skagerrak is in position to do some real damage to the English here. Very, very unexpected to see the convoy of Yorkshire to Norway while moving up to the English Channel. God only knows what magic Max Wanji Banks trying to pull right here. We'll call him Magic Wanji Banks from this point going forward. In the east, we see Brendan Austin just smooth walking into Moscow. Jasper can't do anything about it because his armies are in Ukraine and Galicia. How are they going to get back up there in time to do anything to stop St. Petersburg from falling or Moscow from falling beyond a mere little bounce here and there? No, Jasper has one enemy right now, and it's the Turk, and he's going full steam ahead of them. I think he must have assumed he's going to get some help from Brendan Austin here, that Budapest was going to support it there or something like that. But with Budapest being unordered or maybe having misordered, doesn't get in this time.
Brandon's too busy killing Russia. He doesn't want to support Russia.
Why not?
He doesn't want to.
Anywho, we see North Atlantic go into Norwegian while Mao goes to North Atlantic. What is this madness? Belgium gets convoy to Edinburgh while Sweden is supported to Norway, and Norway just walks into St. Petersburg because why not? Absolute chaos to be seen in the north. In the south, we see just kiss the convoy to Greece by two fleets, the Eastern and the Aegean from Syria, with support from Bulgaria, south coast. Boom. And then we see the army in Piedmont, the Russian one, getting blown up quite sadly. Brandon, come on now.
Do we think this is a stab? I know it probably is, but there's a world I can see where this is a weird forward retreat rebalancing kind of situation.
Could be.
I love that Turkish convoy. That
regardless of the intention of it, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Now Brendan does have a free walk into Tunis as a result of it, which is very, very fun to see.
That is quite funny.
And he's still building, right? So
yeah.
Yep. He has built. Max has decided to fleet. It's too easy to fleet Max. But
Max the fleet maxer.
Yeah.
Yes. Magic Wanji Banks the fleet maxer. And it appears to pay off. Tell us about 04.
We see some fleet maxing, but I'll let Isaac talk about it.
I should have specified. Yes. I think we've heard quite enough from you for now.
We get a fleet in London and Liverpool through the fleet maxing that Karthik mentioned. The French walk out of Piedmont having done their job of blowing it up. Rum comes up to Sev, and Sev goes back down to Black Sea. There's a push onto Ionian. Tyrolia moves to cover Trieste and Serbia, and the Germans are put into Galicia, so still not sure if that was a stab or not, but certainly Brandon seems to be operating as though Turkey's going to continue, which is not unreasonable. The St. Petersburg army is gone. The Germans have taken it. as Norwegian comes up to Barents, but too late to be able to do anything properly unless they can get the support of the Austrians.
And do they? No.
They do not. The Austrians cover Warsaw as the Turks push up into Romania and out into the Ionian. So it seems like with the move going out into Tyrolia, risky play, but pays off. They have got the band back together just in time for Max to fleet Max even further, getting the fleet down into the Western Med as he continues fleet maxing. Brandon could learn a thing or two from this guy about fleets.
Don't say that too loudly. They're probably both watching. All
That's
right.
exactly why I'm saying it so loudly.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I do love that, like, there was a Italian, where is it? Here it is. There was an Italian and Turkish bounce in Ion, which meant that Brandon has no risk of losing Tunis in 04. Absolutely beautiful stuff.
And that's planned, right? I mean, given the support and everything else, yeah, I mean, that's just
Yeah.
You would
I
hope
imagine
so.
that was a great AT moves. Yeah.
exactly.
All right. Fleet nixing from Italy. Understandable.
Fleet maxing continues from Max.
But he's built an army. He's doing it all wrong.
Well, no, he had to build the army. Marseille was covered. We'll let him off.
No. He could have waved.
He could have waved. That's true. He could have waved. Max, what are you doing? Building armies.
Isaac
boy.
doesn't understand the Italian spirit like you and I do, Zazo.
Oh dear. Okay. All right. It is 1905. Orders are in the box. What happens from here? Tell us all about it.
Perfect. As the carrier of the Australian spirit of loving a good wave and loving fleet maxing, we see now the fleet drops into North Africa. And that's how you take North Africa, people. You don't do it with an army convoy. You do it with more and more fleets. Fleet max all the way across the sky. So Tyrrhenian Sea makes into Lyon, which would be a problem if you weren't fleet maxing. Because you're fleet maxing, you have a fleet in the Mid-Atlantic Ocean ready to drop into Spain's south coast, while North Africa supports west into Tunis. If the Turks decide to get greedy and go for Naples, Tunis can fall. It's good stuff. In the meantime, though, on the other side of the board, we see Galicia supporting themselves into Warsaw, while Warsaw simply retreats into Moscow, and Sebastopol goes to Ukraine, Romania goes to Galicia. So this take of Warsaw will probably be short-lived because Bohemia can simply cut Silesia. No, good, very, very good play by AT right here. Just fantastic. Masterclass on how to play it.
Lovely.
And in the fall, as I mentioned, there's nothing that they could really do to stop it being retaken here because Silesia gets cut. 3 beats 2. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. So what we then go on to see is an attempt to take back Tunis. Turkey because France tries to take Tunis. Turkey is a good ally. Turkey is a good ally. Wow, words are hard right now. Turkey is a good ally and supports Tunis instead of trying to support themselves into Naples. Great stuff. Yeah. DBN after dark indeed.
It is that time. Oh, righto. No builds. Sure.
Builds are for losers. Builds are for squares. But you know who's not for squares? Isaac, because it's his turn to talk.
Yeah, David
Go,
Hood famously
Isaac.
did say builds are for losers. So this is true. Tunis does
Slander.
finally fall as Tunis gets out to Tyrrhenian Sea. As the French push further into Lyon and over to Eddie just to cover themselves. The Turks walk into Moscow, potentially by agreement, potentially just for fun because they can. Not 100% sure. And they move back out to Bulgaria, out of the Black Sea.
Alrighty.
That's about it. Nope, they're still sticking together. Ionian gets into Greece. Tyrrhenian is unfortunately blown up. Venice goes, but Budapest comes down and takes Greece. So just seems to be some redistributing. And it seems like Max has decided he's not content to just wait around to see what happens to Jacob. He needs to get involved. So he drops to Ruhr, Burgundy, North Sea, and bounces Norwegian.
Ooh, yeah, dropping the hammer. And clearly, they decided that was enough hammer dropping.
Yep.
And that leaves Magic Wanjiro Banks, the Fleet Maxer, on 10. Brandon Austin on 8. Arden Goff, very nice work, 8 as Turkey. And wow.
Got a Fleet Max.
Got
Got a Fleet Max.
Got a Fleet Max. Wow. What's the story of the game?
Fleet maxing. Fleet maxing is the story of the game,
Maxing.
obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But genuinely,
Yeah.
Max maintaining this position because they managed to have those fleets and maneuver them in such a way. And it also makes it much easier for you to be a friend to Germany when you have a grand total of 4 armies across your 10 units, because there's so much less damage you can do to them. So good alliance play and good from both sides of the board, really. Max is just the one who ended up on top because of the hashtag fleet maxing.
Exactly. Hashtag
Amazing.
fleet maxing indeed.
Beautiful stuff. That brings us to the end of round 2, and I am aware that we have a couple of double borders, so the standings might be a little bit quirky here, but let's see. So we would have Darcy reduced by, I think, about 550 points, if anyone can do quick maths on 1975 minus 550. And we would have Brandon minus 725.
So Dominic's winning, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, so we don't need to care about anyone else because Dominic's winning. That's the person we care about.
Dominic's winning. That is all
Dominic's
we need
winning.
to look
Move
at.
on.
All right. So let us move on to round 3 in that
Oh, wait,
case.
that actually worked? Crazy.
It is getting late. We've all got the giggles, and I think we want to power through a couple of these games. So we have round 3 GC. I'm going to do this really, really straightforwardly, and I'm just going to jump to the end of the game, which was 1908 spring.
Yep.
What do you see on this board? What's your
I
guess?
see a very, very well executed AIR. Sean Towers gets wiped out very, very quickly. England gets wiped out very, very quickly by an FG. With the sisters removed, it's just a question of who can move faster. And because AIR just ran a much cleaner game with Jasper, Shane, and Darcy just moving so effectively, there wasn't really much that can be done. I'm assuming that the game was a time draw because if they wanted to, they could easily force some more centers off of.
Yeah. Shame on them. Shame on them for not fogling.
The fogling. It is a beautiful air. As Liam says, welcome to our North American viewers who have started to chime in because it is morning. Alrighty, and we will also have a quick look at the same for round 3 game D, which has Claire, Zubin, Kaiten, Kyle, Jacob, Goff, and Max Wanjiro Banks.
You mean Fleet Max Wanjiro Banks?
Well, he's been punished for his fleet maxing.
Harder to fleet max is Turkey, but yeah.
But lovely Austria-England draw. Presumably not an alliance. But
nice position.
Nice position.
Nice position by the Russians as well. Even though they didn't win, they seem to have done well to hold on to their home and a couple of extra centers they picked up here and there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, Austrian Paris is a weird place for Austria to be, and it's kind of amazing.
Which is weirder, Austrian Paris or Russian Gascony?
Russian Gascony on 3. Russian Gascony normally is totally normal. Like if you're on like 14, great place to be. Russian Gascony on 3 is by far the weirdest thing I've seen today.
Ruin all our fun, Karthik. You ruin all our fun.
Russian
I love
Gascony
this
is
one.
pretty weird. I
Yeah.
wish that Russian Gascony had made an attempt on Brest or Paris. That would have
Yeah.
been fun. We have 2 boards left to colour, and I'm going to show you the players on each one. So we have Brandon Austin, Alex Gonda, who might be playing for the second time. In this tournament, Andrew Goff, Peter McNamara, Jonathan Morris, Connor Muirhead, and James Lieb. And then on our other board, we have double boarding Max Wanji Banks, Jude Connor, Lexi McCutcheon, Dominic Stevens, Aurora Adaman, Sean Coleman, and Charlie Murphy. So these are interesting boards, and I think I want to start with round 3, game B. Let us jump in. Isaac Odds, Karthik Evans, into our last round of this tournament. It is spring 1901. We have quite a few contenders. Take it away.
West is all fairly standard. France does what I've heard referred to quite often as the runaway opening, where they go, I'm just going over here. I'm not a problem. Don't worry about me. It's all fine. Fairly standard opening from England. The Galicia bounce, I will note. Oh, nice. Nice to
Very
see you
nice.
here, Alex. You see the aggressive opening from Charlie, where they go Black Sea, Bulgaria, and Armenia, although the names escaped me, and you just see standard AI setup.
I should show you some moves.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
that would be useful.
No.
We get a convoy over to Norway and a push into Barents in a full Western triple style move. You see France push down into Western Med, so as is required whenever a Western triple appears. Germany gets 3 builds as well, which is wonderful. If you're Germany and you're in a Western triple, you should 100% be demanding 3 builds 100% of the time, because you are on the front line. No bounce in Sweden is interesting, but may just be a hedge.
Good.
Fascinating. Is it,
1902.
though?
Okay, let's see
I'm
some
enjoying that. Thank you. I'm enjoying the fleet build in Berlin.
Yeah. Fleet build Berlin, always a good time. Gets cycled up in a very, very interesting way by Dominic. Gives a chance to put pressure on either Russia or England as they see fit. Very, very excited to see where that goes soon. My guess is it's anti-England, more so than anti-Russian, but you never know. In the south, we see strong declarations, though. We see the convoy to North Africa. We see Marseille going to Lyon. And presumably, Rome was supposed to go to Tyrrhenian, but because it didn't, Tunis is going to fall. Very, very rough, unfortunate misorder.
Well, unless Ionian's there to be friendly.
I'm not a guess. Unless Ionian's here to help. Actually, good point. Yeah, very, very good point. Yeah, and then nothing much happening in the east other than Ukraine falling, which is important to note, and Moscow just being backfilled by the English. Very, very cool stuff. Oh, forgot to comment on Dominic Stevens, which is the most important thing I said last turn. They do choose to go anti-Russian here. The fleet is put into Sweden, and the fleet goes to Barents. Very nice stuff.
Beautiful. And I'm going to excitingly bring back our third analyst to the stage. Welcome back, Micah. We're glad to have you.
You're muted.
And we
You're
can't
muted.
hear you. Oh dear. We can't hear you.
You should unmute yourself. Are you sure you're not muted on StreamYard?
We are professionals at the Diplomacy Broadcast
It
Network.
could be like an AirPods thing also.
We're professionals at the diplomacy. We're not professionals at the tech. We have other
That's
people for
true.
that, and they're all asleep.
Yep.
That is true. We love it here. DBN
I
After
cannot hear
Dark.
you. Nope.
Yes, we'll bring Micah back shortly again. There was my exciting little 1, 2, 3 idea.
Yeah.
Did not work. That's okay. You know what? It's 1903 and we're alive.
It's 19.
Okay.
Oh, it's spring 1903. I see.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Time for our odd guy Isaac.
Okay, we get a push north. Western Triple continues to Western Triple. There's a move into Burgundy, which I wouldn't love, but I could tolerate. Is Germany here potentially? But there is all the stuff you'd expect. They push down to Silesia. Actually, maybe you want the unit in Burgundy, given the way this AI T is moving.
Mhm.
They lose Warsaw. They get into Russia loses Warsaw. The AIT get into Bohemia. Tunis is lost to the French, as there is a lovely little triple bounce in Naples. England continues to push further out. A lovely little convoy over to Prussia to increase that position. Yeah, just Western tripling. The Western Triple continues to Western Triple as they get into Warsaw. As England gets into Warsaw, England's managed to do an excellent job of getting all the gains here. Actually, I don't know if the Western Triple continues to Western Triple because England gets into Warsaw and also convoys to Belgium, which does not seem like a very Western Tripoli kind of move. France moves back to Lyon, picking up Tunis. So it'll be interesting to see how France goes here and whether England's shot their gun too early.
Absolutely. I wonder as well, this is based on nothing more than a vibe. Was the idea that Germany would get Norway? I know that sounds wild, but like maybe the assumption was that Barents and Norwegian would do some sort of convoy.
Or just like hold.
Or hold.
Yeah, Norway can just walk to St. Pete itself, right?
Yeah, true. Oh boy. All right. So down 1 for Dominic. And we say thanks for playing to Sean. Very brutal takeout from both sides of the board.
Yep.
Sometimes everyone just wants to murder you.
Yep. I can relate to that.
All right. Tell us about things that aren't Russia dying. I don't know where that was going.
Well,
I had a line.
I will take your suggestion and ignore it. So Russia continues to die. This time, Moscow gets taken over by Sevastopol. It's not the Russians' armies, but it is the Russian centers dying once more. This time, changing to Turkish hands from the English. In the center of the board, there's a lot of bounces, but not much happening other than these two very, very important moves. We have Silesia making it into Munich, and we have London making it into Holland, causing massive German retreats into Kiel and into Berlin. Just a rough position for Dominic Stevens to be in as he gets sort of crunched from both ends. And this is a really, really fun board because it's not often that you get to see both sides of the board working to common ends, like one after another, right? Russia gets squeezed by the North and South, and then Germany gets squeezed like right afterwards. Like very, very interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah, normally only ever see it at DixieCon because it's a rewards draw-based scoring, which means you want to have these sort of like cross-board partnerships, but not what we're seeing here at all. So now with Germany basically suffering miserably, England dropping into Skagerrak, Silesia going into position, we're being taken by the French. The only brief respite is the Germans being put into Warsaw. Not that it'll do them any good, but at least it's something. But it's just brutally, brutally rough. And I don't know how Germany ever recovers from this. I think they just need to try and fight for like a 100 survival to get some amount of points on the board and hopefully stay ahead of Brendan if that's their objective to win the tournament. Like other than that, I don't see how they do it.
Yeah, ouch. All right. Looks like France is the only stable member of the, as we once called them, the test and ripple, the All right. Oh, wow. Everyone wants Germany in Munich.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, as England walks into Holland, takes Denmark behind, and gets pushed down into Livonia with German support. So clearly, Germany has figured some sort of deal out to try and keep themselves alive, and there's clearly been some sort of change of heart because Italy gets pushed into Ionium by the French, having it mean they have to retreat back to Greece just in time because Con comes out to Aegean and Smyrna comes out to Eastern Med. So Ionian's probably going to need to be held as there's a drop down into Tyrolia and a push up into Budapest as it seems to have formed in the east into a pretty clear AT. And the West seems to have reformed the Western Triple, but just with Germany as a very, 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 very junior partner.
Oh, dear.
Mhm.
We see an attempt to push out into Baltic as Dominic, not content with that, tries to take Kiel back, which I think is reasonable. Unfortunately, Silesia is tapped, so Warsaw changes hands over to the Turks. Romania drops down to Bulgaria as Aegean goes into Ionian. So the AT lasted a full single phase, not even a whole year, before the Turks take those two centers as the Austrians grab Trieste, potentially by agreement. There's a lovely little convoy into Rome as well. We've decided that Aurora is the next person who has to die.
Oh,
Sorry, Aurora.
that's not very nice.
No. You should treat your visitors better in Australia.
But then visitors might win Australian tournaments, Isaac, and that can't be permitted.
I see.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding, mostly. All right.
Now I regret not stopping Peter McNamara for 3, so I could just stop Zoe from making that joke from the jump.
All right. Go on. Go on, Karthik.
Thank you, Zazo. Okay, so we have England moving once again in position to take more German centers, this time in Sweden. Also trying to take Berlin, but cannot do so. France is stabbing them, though, which will cause some pause, probably. So I think Dominic may live, other than, Sweden. Berlin and Munich will probably remain his, though. In the south, we have Austria moving hard on the Turks because they're like, well, this AT thing only last a phase, not even a full year. Guess I got to do something about it. Turks also similarly move in a position to try and take them out. But also, the Turks are very concerned with the Ionian Sea. However, they get bounced out by a supported French attack. So, yeah, let's go to the fall. Okay, in the fall. Interesting. This is not what I would have expected as a response to the stab. Sweden falls, but Dominic recognizes tactically and decides to then support Sweden into Denmark and succeeds in taking it. We see a misorder of a convoy of Edinburgh to Holland. Would not have probably stopped anything there, but it is interesting to note. We also see Kiel getting supported into Munich, but Berlin simply just walks in behind. So despite England taking 2 centers off of Dominic doesn't actually lose anything here. England does, which is a wild thing to say, and I would not have believed you told me that at the start of the tournament.
Yeah, wow. What a time. Down 2 for England, plus 3 for France.
Yeah.
Wow.
With Rome pretty much in pocket as well.
Yeah.
Fleet maxing from Lexi, clearly learned from the best.
Exactly. Fleet max. I mean, Lexi Max Cutchin, Lexi Fleet Max McCutcheon.
Yeah. There's a push.
We're going well.
Yep.
There is a push into Tyrolia, and the Italians come back and try and pester the French by being in Apulia as they walk into Rome. The Turks seem to not really do anything with their moves, just sort of hold their position. As Max comes down to try and get into a position to do something to stop them, or to just stop them from stabbing at least. Dominic gets into the North Sea, of course. That's exactly where you'd expect that to go. And covers Berlin against the potential English attack. But England's not concerned with that, having walked out into Burgundy to try and pester the French who've stabbed them so rudely.
They have slipped into Denmark, though.
And it has in fact been pointed out to me by the commentators that there is a walk into Eddie
Oh my.
that Dominic can just take if he
my.
wants.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And apparently there were some adjudication errors, and board state superseded backstabber. So
I think that's why the English are in Denmark now.
English-
But they
no,
walk.
the
But
English got in.
They just
Oh,
got
okay.
in. Yeah. They just walked in last
Okay.
turn.
They walk out this turn because They don't want centers. No, that would be silly. As Dominic walks into Eddie and Sweden, covering Kiel, but going up 2 only with 1 place to build them.
Oh
As
my.
England pushes into Gascony and the Turks continue to try and advance, getting Black Sea out and getting Greece over to Aegean to get that extra play on the Med, or to get that extra play on Serbia, more likely. As Venice is lost, which is unfortunate, but these things happen.
+2 for Dominic, builds 1. -2 for England. Thank you for playing Aurora. I apologize for my country folk again. This is very cruel and unusual treatment. Karthik will say it's not unusual.
No, you guys
Cruel.
are very, very, very nice to me.
We learned from then on.
I see. So the English seem to walk out of German centers last time, happy to yield Sweden, happy to yield Denmark, and now this time have decided to be like, wait a second, that didn't make any sense. And now they decided to take, I want Kiel. And that gives the Germans a free retreat into Holland, which also cannot be taken back because Belgium gets convoyed into London. How God managed to pull off this masterclass, I do not know, but I love watching it. Then Austria supports the convoy of Greece into Apulia, putting Naples at severe risk of falling. And Serbia walks into Bulgaria and says, I have no idea what is being offered here and what's the deal and what's not. Let's find out. Why don't we in the fall?
Let us find out. Oh my.
Yeah, so this seems to all be agreed upon. Sev is taken, Warsaw is taken, Moscow takes St. Petersburg. What is... Oh, so I guess there's some misorder trying to support Apulia into Naples. Gobbledygook was written and does not go. So rest in peace.
Yeah, pretty good stuff.
Yeah, and then in the fall, we see Prussia take Berlin. We see Kiel remain this time. We see North Sea get tapped, ensuring that Norway and Sweden stay. We see a bounce in Liverpool, keeping that English for now. But another convoy means it will not be long before England loses all the Isles for good. Yeah, nothing much else to say. Austria plus 3.
+3 for Austria. I do enjoy that Max Wanji Banks has been in the chat telling everyone to look at Dominic Stevens, which valid because Dom is really, it's quite impressive. But also Max in Austria has just grown by 3.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that, Max?
He's unit maxing right now.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Not fleet maxing.
But where's the fleet? Where's the fleet?
Not
Where's
fleet
the
maxing.
red
Not
boat?
okay.
Yeah.
Tut.
So
All right.
we see Max goes for it, pulls off a stab on us on Turkey, walks into Greece, walks into Armenia, walks
Oh
up into
my.
Ukraine, down into Serbia. So lots of options as takes Moscow as well as the Turks walk out into Munich with Silesia. So they can't even threaten Warsaw, as Kiel's lost to the Germans once again, who are determined not to die. As the
Absolutely
French
brilliant play by Max right there.
push up into Ruhr, and the Germany and England are just trading dots back and forth, and France is taking full advantage. But this is a beautiful little stab. I don't think there's really much that can be done to counter it.
Yep.
No,
In
absolutely.
fact, there's a walk into Ankara.
Oh, ouchie.
And
In
why?
the fall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Brutal.
There's a walk into Ankara. There's Bulgaria's retaken. Greece is held. St. Petersburg comes down to Livonia and Prussia, but it's too little, too late. As they lose those three centers. Dominic gets Kiel back as the Turks gets Kiel and Berlin back while losing Munich to France. Hangs on to Eddie somehow. Loses Sweden, so I believe is still going positive.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yep, +1, +3 for Max. We have not been paying attention to France. France is on 12. Just
I've been talking
saying.
about France. I've been talking about Lexi McCutcheon all game. I said Lexi Fleet McCutcheon.
Yeah, exactly.
Fleet Max Cutchin. Yes, Fleet Maxing. Oh wow. So +1 for Germany, cannot build. +3 for Austria, can build everything. +2 for France.
Do we finally see an Austrian boat?
Oh my, I wonder. Also,
Probably not this late.
-4 for Turkey. Ouch, that is a painful stab.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Shout out for Lexi, who is incorrectly described in Dipcast as being from Sydney. Lexi is from Canberra. Great job. And from ANU specifically. All right. And we have everything that you'd expect except a little red boat, devastating. And
That
the
is
game
the
is
end of the
over.
game.
Beautiful 12-12. Max Wanji-Robanks in Austria and Lexi McCutcheon in France. How did this happen? How did this happen? There's a variant that's just that's FA, isn't it? 2-player
Yeah,
Francis.
there is.
They're just aiming towards that state jointly.
Yeah, I mean, basically, at one point, Turkey's position seemed unassailable, but I think they just got overconfident and left like them open to like a massive stab over and over again, and then as a result, they proceed to get stabbed over and over again by stab maxing Wanjiro Banks.
I'm enjoying FA is sweet AF. Yes,
Yeah.
that is true. Congratulations.
Good wordplay right there by Max Wanjiro Banks. So, like, you know.
What a great game. And after this highly enjoyable game, I have to bring Micah back to the stage, and hopefully Micah can hear us
Hello.
and talk to us.
Whoa!
Yay!
Yes! I'm a chaotic edition today. Thank you for your patience, both viewers and the three of you.
Of course, of
Oh, it's a
course.
fun game again. There's so many things happening. I see France and Austria doing really well overall in the tournament. I think there's a lot of countries who got really big and high results. There's shared result. It's friendly. It's fun. There's switches. I like it.
Yep.
I really enjoyed in the comments the mention made that Dom, as what was it in the end, 5 center Germany, says to Lexi, "This is the most fun game I've played in years." I kind of love that. It's like if someone who has like fought their way back up to 5 from being nearly eliminated found it a really fun, challenging, enjoyable game. Like that's what you want to hear as a tournament director. That's what you want to hear as a fellow player. I love it.
100%.
And we have one last game to cover, so I'm very glad to have all three of you back on deck. And I reckon we'll give Micah We'll go 1, 2, 3. So it'll go Micah, Karthik, Isaac. Micah, Karthik, Isaac. And hopefully it goes for a neat 9 years. I have no idea how long it goes for. We shall see. We have Alex Conda in Austria. We have Brandon Austin as England. Andrew Goff as France. Peter McNamara as Germany. God, what a West. Italy, Jonathan Morris. Russia, Connor Muirhead. And Turkey, James Lieb. As a reminder, that is Micah, Karthik, Isaac, and let us take it away, Micah, in Spring 01, last game of the Sydney Cup 2026. Take us away.
Okay, we see England doing the standard opening again, except they go to Edinburgh and they're very friendly towards France. France goes down, of course, Andrew Goff goes down, and we're playing peaceful. Italy, very interesting. Haven't seen that yet. Maybe ever. Um, it's I think it's a way to convoy to Tunis. You can do it. I'm sure Turkey is quite happy with you now, as well as Austria. So that's a fun move to see. Maybe not so fun when you're friends. We see Germany doing pretty standard things. Russia as well. We see the Galicia bounce again, and there's peace in the east.
Peace in the east.
Peace in our time.
Still for you, Micah.
Oh, you meant per year. I see. Okay. We see a convoy into Belgium. That's fun. Works with what we figured out about France and England probably being friendly toward each other. So we see that continuing. We see Germany getting into Holland. Sweden goes through. We do see Italy convoying to Tunis, but not only that, they also move to Piedmont. So it seems like Italy is either attacking France or at least really not attacking the East. I'm curious to see what build they will do. We see Russia moving down a lot. Sevastopol goes to Black Sea, they go to Romania, they go to Galicia, and they're really going for it. Now the question is, where exactly are they going? We do see Austria supporting Bulgaria into Romania, but Turkey does not take it. Instead, it goes to Aegean Sea, which seems friendly, but then Russia is in Black Sea, which is a bit odd. So I'm curious to see what alliance will come out of that one.
Mm-hmm.
And what are the builds saying?
Yeah, so the fleet on Kara suggests that they were not very happy with the incursion into the Black Sea. The fleets by Brandon suggest they're going after Andrew Goff here. The fleet from Peter McNamara says, I'm going to tell you nothing. See you in a year.
All right.
If you're Germany, you've got to love two fleet builds from both of your Western neighbors.
Yeah, it's a Western triple, of course. Karthik, tell us more about 1902.
Happy to. So in the West, we have Liverpool and London moving to Irish Sea and English Channel, respectively, putting immense pressure on the French fleets. We see a bounce in Picardy. Whether it is arranged or sussed out, who knows? But also, to complicate matters for Andrew Goff here, you have Peter McNamara sending his armies down into Burgundy and into Ruhr. It's going to be a very, very painful position for him to negotiate, especially with the army in Piedmont ready to do some dirty business. We see Serenity and Mao bouncing in the Western Med. The only question is, can Andrew Goff convince Jonathan Morris to turn around on the basis of the pressure he's under, saying, like, look, let me deal with EG. You don't want to accelerate them. If you do, I'll give my dots to them. Turn around, go deal with the East. In the East, we have a lot of fun going on as well. Russia is having to deal with a massive EG problem with a loss to St. Petersburg already and almost a guaranteed loss of Sweden to come as well. However, what is nice is the fleet is what takes St. Petersburg, so Connor doesn't even consider the North anymore. He just needs to concede it and move on and focus on the South. Unfortunately, though, not looking good up front either, because Austria takes Romania by force with Serbia walking in, with Turkey hoping. It is just a rough place to be. Turkey is anti-Russia, Austria is anti-Russia, Germany is anti-Russia, England is anti-Russia. Nothing much you can do at a certain point. And Connor clearly brought on the anti-Turk sentiments. But diplomacy is why the other three are ganging up on him, and just brutal to see happen.
Youch.
And in the fall, we see Romania be retained. We see the Black Sea get forced, and the army move to Armenia, meaning Sevastopol is done for next turn as well. Sweden done for. And what's odd is choose to walk into Bosnia rather than allowing it to be piffed. But given the loss of censures, doesn't really make much of a difference.
Why walk into Bosnia rather than Norway, though?
Trying to be nice, make nice with the English, I guess. We then see Burgundy support Piedmont into Marseille, as predicted. Belgium takes a free walk into Picardy because wisely Andrew prioritized keeping Mid-Atlantic Ocean over letting an army into Picardy. And Lyon once again gets bounced out of the Western Med by the Italians. I think the Italians are getting dots off of France. Like, that's at least what Brandon and Peter are offering them for now. And I think Jonathan is more than happy to accept that offer rather than trying to play a balance of powers type deal right now.
Fleet Trieste.
Fleet Trieste, fun to see. We finally see the Austrian boat.
Austrian boats are fun.
Zoe, you're muted.
Of course I am. As was mentioned before, we know how to do diplomacy, but we don't know how to do technology. I do enjoy that Brandon Austin is saying in the chat, fleets are new, don't know how they work, builds a fleet in Liverpool, backing up this statement. No, what do I know? All right, and now it is Isaac's turn. Tell us about 1903.
We see push around the French centers, breaking Mao, moving into position to do that if they couldn't for some reason. Unfortunately, the English are kicked out of Picardy, but they do get the Germans into Gascony at the same time, so the IRT are keeping going pretty strong. Trieste walks into Venice, which makes me question why it's a fleet rather than an army, but fair enough. As the Austrians push up to Bohemia, and there's a bounce out of Galicia. Like, the EG is clearly being recognized as a threat, and so they're trying to do something about it, as you can see with the push out into Con and into Aegean. The question is just, what are you going to do? Who's going to get cut out? Because you can't do that with everyone in the East. And the answer appears to be unclear. So we will wait to find out. The Germans get into Paris. Picardy's blown up, which is always nice. It's always nice when you can blow something up, force their disbands in a way that favors you. Mao makes it into Spain.
Ooh.
As Mao itself is braced, and the Italians continue pushing west, holding on to Venice. As the AT just sort of hold position, pushing along into Silesia.
I enjoy that the only substantive move from the AT is Romania tapping Serbia. Sorry.
Yep.
I love this. Amazing.
And Bohemia supporting Galicia to Silesia.
Yes,
but yeah.
but that's not a move. That's not a move. That's a support order. I agree that it's important and it's interesting, but
Yeah.
I do love that the only move is Romania tapping
okay.
Serbia.
I'll just have boring it. It's fine. But it's okay. Brandon's keeping things interesting in the West.
Oh my. Micah, back to you for Spring 04.
Yes. Okay, France gets back into Spain. Does lose other things, but that part is nice. We see England just getting into Brest, gaining position by getting into Mid-Atlantic. Seemingly no one against them really. Well, France, but that's fair. Italy moves back in a way. We see Turkey and Austria continuing to work together, it seems. yeah, other than that, not much else that we might not expect.
Alrighty.
Yeah, okay, so this is interesting because Turkey is going to Galicia. Presumably, there was some deal about how they were going to attack Russia, and then Austria doesn't lose anything, but now Austria does lose something. So we'll see how that will affect the rest. Italy seems to go back. I assume some sort of agreement has been made in the in the east. We also see Venice holding, which I mean, it doesn't help Austria, but it not holding Tyrolia does. And we see Italy moving back. I think that's to sort of stop the West. At the same time, Turkey is now an Aegean, Turkey is now an Ionian. Is that going to go towards Italy? Or is this some sort of an attack on Austria now that it's sort of possible? And are they going to see if the rest can just hold the line? Either way, England's doing well, and that's what Brandon needs this round.
Absolutely. I am very interested in those Turkish fleets and what they are doing.
Oh, the build is.
All right, builders an army, and we have yet another fleet from Brandon Austin, who's
Brandon
taking
hasn't
the
built an
lessons.
army yet, right?
Sorry,
He hasn't built an army yet, right?
he hasn't built an army
He
yet.
clearly listened to Karthik earlier then.
He hasn't built an army
Yep.
yet. Just a moment. Just okay. All right. I'm okay.
Nice.
Okay.
This
I
is
think
actually
it's an interesting build.
this is incredible. Hats off to
They're
you,
there.
Brandon
They're
Austin.
there.
Wish I could play
It is very good. I also want to shout out the Turkish build.
Yes.
This is saying nothing. If it wasn't me, they could have gone to Sav doing this. He can either convoy to Apulia, he could secretly take Greece and go up from there. It's a very good build.
Oh,
Yes.
Why take
isn't
Greece
it?
when you could take Serbia?
Maybe you can
Exactly.
take
The
both.
crown jewel of the Balkans. Someone's been listening to my TED Talks.
Oh gosh. Okay,
Take
speaking of your
both.
TED Talks, you're up again, Karthik Connors. Go on.
Indeed, I am. So, as Micah said, brilliantly and correctly, this build tells the world nothing. So you can talk to each person on the board, tell them exactly what they want to hear, and then do what you want to do. And that's exactly what James Lee did here. He walked straight into Tunis. Italy could have blocked it, but Italy did not believe that Ionian was going to go there, and therefore got a free walk and now get to hold it. And unfortunately, could not trick Connor, Dr. Solo, because Dr. Solo can't be fooled. Romania gets bounced out of Ukraine. However, while Dr. Solo can't get fooled, he can be overpowered. And the force of 3 is greater than a force of 2, and therefore the Germans make it into Silesia. In the West, we see the continued role of Brandon Austin as Leon supports Spain into Western Med, and Mid-Atlantic makes it into Spain to backfill, and Portugal is just kind of left there. I have to assume it's going to fall in the fall, but for now, it gets to live.
And does it go in the fall? Oh boy, does it.
It does. Cartha gets premonition points here. Portugal falls. Marseille falls due to Leon tapping Piedmont. Just a very, very good turn for the EG. Just like a masterclass on how to run one. Bothnia supports Livonia to St. Petersburg, though. And that I find very, very curious. Like, if you are going to stab and betray your partner, stabbing them for them to lose a center, but not for you to gain one, is a very, very interesting choice.
I think this is board
Russia's also not
management.
going to be able to build to defend against Turkey here either, because Turkey is taking Sev. Russia will be down to 3 centers, so they'll keep St. Petersburg, Ukraine, and Prussia, but that's not enough to stop the AT from rolling along. But I don't even get what the value of having Russia on side is. So, yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. I my read, potentially wrong, probably wrong, is that this is an EG arrangement, and they're doing this so that Russia doesn't have that disband, because Russia on 3 can only slow down the AT so much, maybe like a phase, maybe a year. Russia on 2 can't slow down the AT at all.
Yeah. But I'm saying the unit in Prussia only does so much. Maybe.
Well, the unit in Prussia was supposed to be in Warsaw, right? Just got bounced.
Right. Yes. That is true. That is fair. Yes. If it makes sense in Warsaw, then there's a much stronger argument for that. And yeah, apparently it was agreed upon. But yeah,
You're not the only one with premonition powers, Karthik.
That's very true. Very well done, Brandon.
All right. Let us move on to winter. And Turkey's got the memo on fleet maxing.
Good.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, they seem to have Italy sort of on side, because last turn Italy had to pick who am I gonna annoy the most, and it seemed like it was not Turkey.
Well, Italy's probably very angry at the EG right now.
Yeah, I think I'm more angry with the EG than with Turkey.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to hope there's a lot to talk about in Spring 06 because I need to be a dog parent for a hot moment. So take it away, talking about 06, Isaac.
Okay, so we got decent pushing. We got Western Med Falls, Tyrrhenian Falls, as Ukraine makes its way into Galicia as St. Pete comes down to Moscow. So this is all quite nice. There's moves to Denmark, Sweden, and Holland. I don't know if that's a stab or just a defensive move set. I would imagine the second, but we will have to see. And since that's everything we have for Spring 06, I'm going to steal Zoe's thunder and I'm going to ask, who do you like? Because that's just a game you can play to buy time.
Great question. I like England. I think that Germany coming back will cause them some issues and some headaches. But overall, I still really like the English position. I think they will get Tunis when all is said and done. And from that, they have really, really easy pathways to redistribute their forces, take Marseille, do a bunch of other really, really annoying things. And I think Austrian units will hit Germany in ways that will be annoying. Turkey being strong is the one thing that gives me some pause and says Germany has a chance, but yeah.
Micah?
Yeah, I think I probably agree with that. I'm also just thinking about this standings overall. I'm not sure how much Brandon needs. I think Darcy was also in a good position and did well in that last game again. So I'm guessing Brandon probably needs a good game, but not like a lone 15 cents top. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, no, he already had one of those.
Yeah, right.
16, thank you.
I think he can use that he doesn't need that,
Yeah.
and that he'll be able to talk his way into what he needs. And I also think he has the best position, so I'm just gonna be mean and also pick England.
Fair. I'll throw a vote for Peter. I think the German position here is pretty decent.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good EG. Tell us about fall.
We see a bounce in Marseille, bounce in Belgium, so all good arranged stuff. Tunis falls. Tyrrhenian makes its way into Ionian through the support of Naples, I believe. So Italy deciding that they're actually more annoyed at Turkey now. As the Turks push up into Galicia, taking out that Russian army, but Russia owns St. Petersburg, so they have a place that they can rebuild it. Meaning they'll be able to hold on to that line much longer, especially if Berlin can slide over to Prussia. So I think this is just good pushing by the AT and good prevention by the EG, with Connor sitting in the middle saying, no, you can't take my dots because then like the other people might be allowed them.
A good thing to do when you only have a few centers left is to bargain like that. All right.
Does this game end, and what are the people left playing for? Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. He's still building boats. He's
I
still
mean,
building
this
boats. He's not
it
built.
it does make sense, to be fair, because of the way these bounces are set up. You need
Yeah.
a way to be able to bounce Belgium whilst also covering North Sea.
Exactly.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Or you
That's
can just go to
a
English
chicken
Channel.
egg. This is Micah's turn to talk through. Micah.
Yes, let's see. We continue with bouncing, but England is indeed an English channel now, which makes sense. What does Leon do? Is that a
What's the order for
Leon
Gulf of
playing
Leon?
Marseille to Piedmont. Which,
To Leon.
which is a really
It's a
odd choice.
yeah, it's a
Convoys
convoy, right?
Marseille to
Yeah, that is a convoy
Tuscany.
spot. But Marseille to
Yes,
Tuscany. Oh, that is interesting.
Wow.
that's what I thought. That there was something going on that didn't happen. Okay, so something
Stab.
went on here. I'm not
Stab.
sure if someone
Peter
didn't
not
reach
taking the convoy.
agreement, or yeah, maybe they changed the plan last minute. It does seem like Germany and England are still working together. From the rest of the moves, or at least are forced to do so for now. Um, rest of the English position stays good. It seems like Weston was supporting Leon to Turanian Sea, so I suspect that there were some moves and then they were changed and then they were half changed. That's something
Yeah,
like that.
Brandon's confirmed he doesn't know how boats work.
A tournament can be stressful, especially in last round. Um, Also, I mean, the English position does keep getting better. Well, Brandon is in Apulia, which is a great place to be when you're England. Other than that, we see Italy getting into Tyrolia. I'm not sure if that's really good for them, but at least they're not dying in Piedmont, so maybe they can make some deals there.
I will just say, for those of our viewers who may be newer to our beautiful game, if Brandon Austin tries to convince you that he doesn't know how boats work, please know that that is a joke. It's not true. All right.
Let's see. More bouncing. England walks out of Marseille. That was not a sap. England and Germany are still friends. We see Italy regaining all their centers. Not a lot of movement elsewhere. We do see a little switch in in the east where James gets Moscow, but Russia gains back Warsaw with German support. I do think it's interesting it was German support. Does that mean that Germany will have Russian support in the north? We'll see.
We shall see. Oh, down 1 for Russia, up 1 for Austria, up 2 for Turkey. We have Brandon on 9, Peter on 8, James on 7.
That's
And
the
that's
end.
the end of the
Okay.
game.
Yeah,
Ooh, is that enough for Brandon?
I think it probably is.
Is that enough?
Probably.
Well, while we pause, it is my pleasure to describe to you now that it is the end of the tournament, I can tell you a little bit more about the scoring system. So there are 2 names for this scoring system. I believe its original was Sydney Cup Carnage. So good shout on the Carnage reference there earlier. Points for position 700, 600, 500, 400, 300, 200, 100. Players on shared positions average the points between them, i.e., two-way board top is 700 plus 600 divided by 2, etc. Points for centres 25 per centre, points for times 5, 1 point per year for eliminated players solo on board, plus 50% for soloing player, minus 50% for all other players. So that quirk of a solo not giving 0 to everyone else on the board. But I'm sure you're all interested now to know what the final results were. I am aware that
Yes, please.
Dip TV has the correct results. The standings in Dipcast, which we use here, are not quite correct because they don't always take into account the situations where people are double boarding, yes, in effect, there are drop rounds here because several people have double boarded. But I have a nifty little Dip TV screen share. We are high technology here.
Very, very.
Again, we do the diplomacy, we don't do the technology.
We do the diplomacy and not the technology, and we are proving that now because I can't even find where to share.
Well, we can talk about that. What is fun about this current system, I think, with the games we've seen, is that share tops really aren't bad. It's 700 plus 600 divided by 2 or something, that's still 650. That's really close, especially if you have a high sensor count.
Yeah.
All right.
We're giving up 2 centers basically by having a shared
Yeah.
top, which is marginal. And if it increases the odds that you get the top, absolutely worth it.
And we have the final scores. Drum roll, please. Thank you. First, we
There
have
we
Brandon
go.
Austin.
Woo!
Second, we have Max Wanji Robanks, Fleet Maxa, Magic Wanji Robanks.
Yep.
In third, we actually have, so I am aware of the tiebreakers. The first tiebreaker, which this came down to, was highest individual board score. So Dominic Stevens in third, Zubin Billy Moria in fourth, Darcy Morris fifth, Claire Bradbury sixth, and Charlie Murphy rounding out that top board.
Darcy Morris not in
Wow.
first place. That's wild.
He's in fifth. Unbelievable.
Major
seriously-
congratulations to Brendan Austin. Beautiful win. Very, very well
Absolutely.
played.
Congratulations. Also, if you look at because Brandon double boarded the first round, right, and still had a really high score being crossed
Had a
away.
really high score. I feel that is not actually unprecedented for Brandon Austin in tournament play. I believe he did something similar at EDC. Got to
Yeah.
watch out for that double boarding Brandon Austin. And
Yeah.
Max also double boarded. There's generally quite a sense that double boarding is bad for your score. There's a sort of rhetoric that, often it gets you trampled. I feel that if I double boarded, I would absolutely be one of those people getting trampled. But some players manage to pull out these incredible results
Well,
even while
also-
doing so.
Some of it is the system. Like if you have a system that says only 3 of your scores count, then you're much more incentivized to double board, because if one of those games goes well, if both of those games go well, you effectively have another round that's a drop round.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well, this is true, but Isaac, this assumes that one has the capacity to make either of those double boards a good board, and I'm telling you that that's certainly not me. But I'm always
Double-
very impressed by players who can make it work.
Double
Huge
boarding is so
congratulations.
stressful, especially for tournaments.
Absolutely. And I've got
Very
a
well
shout
done.
out here as well. Got to shout out Max, got to shout out Dom. Really,
Mhm.
really well played. Beautiful boards from all of our top 3, all of our top 7, honestly. Very impressive, but really
Yeah.
nice to see some of these big, exciting scores and some really awesome games that sounded like they were really satisfying to play.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and also Zubin, I don't know them. We will have to keep an eye out for them for the future.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Absolutely. That's exactly what I was
Absolutely.
about to say. And then I also want to shout out a lot of people who have like really, really big individual scores.
Yes.
Like, who are newer players to me. Like looking at this, like I see like Lexi McCutcheon had a 950.
Yes.
Massive score, impressively well played. Jasper had a 950 and an 850. Very
Yes.
well done. Charlie Murphy also did me with a 900. Like all these players who like I've never like really seen before, who are just like killing an Australian hobby. Please come out to some of our international tournaments. Chicago World DipCon is going to be happening soon. Definitely a tournament worth going to. And there's so many others like along the way. Please come out. World DipCons, international tournaments like these continental championships. They make the hobby go around. And it's so fun to play with people who play in much different metas than you do and seeing how they interact and mix and evolve from there. So yeah, come out and play.
And also, don't forget virtual. I would be remiss not to point out, considering our one of our glorious co-chairs is here, and the other glorious co-chair came fifth in this tournament, the Virtual Diplomacy League, the flagship league of the virtual face-to-face scene, which is
Yes.
accessible via Discord. And for the Australians, that is not your only option. You also have Snake Pit, the wonderful Snake Pit, which plays once a month as well. Check those out, particularly to our newer players. We would love to see you in virtual, as well as please do come to more face-to-face tournaments. Love to see it, and love to see returning players as well, remembering Kim from one of the earlier games who was coming back and playing after 20 years. We are such a broad church, and we are so delighted to have new players, returning players, and our old faves. It's a great place to be, and thank you to all the players for allowing us to cover these games. It was really a pleasure. Congratulations again to Brandon Austin. And I will, yes, go on, Karthik. I've cut you off too early.
I heard you say Broadchurch. Are we solving a murder now? Like, what's up?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, some of these boards, you have to get the mop out afterwards. But some of these boards are just beautiful examples of friendship and international relations.
I thought those weren't allowed.
As you can tell, it's 5 a.m. 5 a.m. and I'm starting to lose my mind a little bit.
No, I kind of love it. It's all right. I wiped my mind of no friends allowed after I saw Brandon Austin win a tournament building only boats, boat after boat after boat after boat, and thank you to all our viewers. Remember to like the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. It allows us to get more of the good diplomacy world out to all of you great people. And for now, I'm going to be the one to close us out. Thank you all to the wonderful Karthik Conniff, Isaac Chooks, Micah Blum. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all on deck for this evening. DBN After Dark for life. And to all our viewers, stay safe and stab well.